Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City. Nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly. 18 years or older. Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Not sure where to turn? Remember 211, the number to contact for mental health, addiction, and community supports. It's free, confidential, and available 24/7. 211 Alberta. One number, countless connections.
A message from the Government of Alberta.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Swing back, hit straight.
On Sports 1440.
Now Harrison looking to his left. Once again, Lawler backtracking. And did he hang on to it? Touchdown, Tiger Cats. Oh, Frosty the Truman.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Let's look here for the Tiger Cats. They send it. VA is after wide open. Down the seam to John % will walk it in.
It's just after 2 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, or stream us. You got the old-fashioned AM dial, tune in, Radio Player Canada, iHeartRadio. Check out our website. Either way, whatever you do, we appreciate you joining. Like, if you can, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll go on from there. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca tonight. $20 million Lotto Max. Tomorrow, you got the Gold Ball jackpot, $42 million. Or head over to the sports area. Check out the Jason Gregor Show special. We got some Blue Jays. We got WNBA. Valkyries taking on the Tempo. That's Dex Select today. Tempo, unfortunately, he's not rolling with you. He's going with the Valkyries to cover a 12-point spread. Hoping for a blowout there. Check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley sitting in, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor along with us today. Lots to get to on the program, of course. We're going to kick things off with Kevin Woodley. No show yesterday with a long weekend, so Woodley will join us today. We'll hear from Mike Wilner, covers the Toronto Blue Jays and does so very well for the Toronto Star. Get a recap on trade deadline. The Jays 1-0 post-deadline. Rick Walters will be swinging by, former CFLer, played for the Edmonton Eskimos in the early 2000s. He'll be joining us for a couple segments minimum as we talk about that game. Tough loss on Saturday night down at Commonwealth. Shout out to all of you that went to the game. There's over 31,000 people. The second deck was opened up. Looked amazing. Falling short just a little bit at the end, but a good sign, I would say, that, again, you're hanging around with the Riders. A very good team in the CFL. Coming up next, you get the Montreal Alouettes in Montreal. So not only would you say it's a good measuring stick game, but also a chance to bounce back, see how you do. And the Elks have been good on the road. So we'll talk about that with Rick Walters. We've got the roundtable. Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM is going to join us. We'll look around the NHL, and it's not the busiest time of the NHL season, but, midway through the summer, we're going to talk about divisions and who he likes to finish in each of the divisions, maybe top 3. Maybe we'll look at some wild card teams, some teams he expects to flop. So we will talk some hockey there. We've got Spec, Cam Tate, stats of the day, and 5 questions as well. So lots to get to here on the show. In case you missed some of the news and notes of the day around the sporting world, guys getting paid. In the NFL, Bijan Robinson getting a contract extension, $25 million per season. That was a little more than we had expected because right now it's Saquon Barkley is right over $20 million. And just with how tight the salary caps are in the NFL, I think a lot of us thought it might be 21, 22, and that probably would have been fair for Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, who is also waiting for his deal. But for Bijan, the Falcons paying him quite handsomely, $25 million over 3 years. I would expect that if you're Jahmyr Gibbs camp, you probably want 25.1, 25.2 just to become the highest paid player at your position. And then they'll probably move on from that one. And then Zay Flowers. How about this? This guy gets absolutely paid. He gets an AAV equivalent to Justin Jefferson. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler. No doubt a very good player. If you're the Ravens, maybe you're betting on the upside here. This contract doesn't even come into, won't even happen by 2 years. So he has 1 more year on his rookie deal. Then he's going to get the 5th year option, being a first-round pick. And then the contract extension keeps it going. So he'll be in Baltimore through 2031. A good spot. This guy has a very good work ethic, and hopefully it pays out. You need a few more touchdowns, I think. When you look at what he's been able to do touchdown-wise, it's a little low. I believe 5 is his career high. He's done that twice. Guy hits pay dirt a little bit more. You're probably pretty happy with that one. And I would think that Lamar Jackson probably had a thing to say about that. But when you look at the highest paid receivers, ahead of him now, only Drake London, Jamar Chase, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's making 42.15. He's making more money than some pretty good receivers out there. But those guys likely going to get paid as well. Declan Kruger here today in studio. Deck, how was the weekend?
Oh, I mean, the weekend was great, but like that Zay Flowers contract, now you were way too generous. Like that is a polar bear in Texas when you list him with those other names. And I'm not saying he's a bad player. Obviously, I don't think either of us would say that. But like look at the guys you just listed him like beside him. There's no way he deserves to be in those conversations. You listed the TD numbers, and then just beyond that, eye test wise, like he's nowhere near the stratosphere of those. Credit to him for getting paid, but that's a crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're Justin Jefferson, you're like, well, we're making the same amount of money. Vikings, let's restructure this bad boy. Let's keep me in Minnesota for the rest of my career. He's got, I believe, 3 years left on his deal, but maybe get those numbers booked up a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the game on Saturday. Can I confess something to you?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that embellishment was objectionable conduct.
Yeah.
When Noah Taylor was ejected from the game, we were in the press box. We didn't hear any announcement, and we're like, did he get hurt? Like he's being walked off. I am all on board, to get rid of embellishment in football. The NFL does not have this penalty, by the way. This is a CFL only penalty. But I think for embellishment, automatic first down, 10, 15 yards would suffice. I don't want to see a player getting kicked out of the game for embellishment. And I know the rule. You get 2 objectionable conducts, you're out. Shouldn't have made contact with the official in the first place. I get that. The other ones I can kind of understand. Here are the objectionable conducts. Verbal abuse or objectionable gesture directed towards an opponent, official, or spectator. So you got to be nice to the fans. Sure. Throwing the ball at an opponent. Yeah, that makes sense. Kicking or throwing an official's flag. I get it. Baiting or taunting an opponent with an act or word. Sure. A quarterback or punter or kicker fake and give themselves up with a slide. So Kenny Pickett at Pitt. Can't fake slide. That is objectionable conduct. Could you imagine a quarterback getting kicked out of the game for that if it was their second foul? Removing your helmet, avoidable physical contact with an official, which he got caught with the first time. But also, there it is, embellishing contact by an opponent in an attempt to draw a penalty. Heck, I had no idea. I don't think I've ever seen it in the CFL, and I'm not watching every game, granted. Maybe the first time I see it, I don't even compute that 2 of those could get you kicked out of a game, but as trying to be unbiased, I think even if it was the other way, I don't think I'd like it.
It is like, obviously that compared to the rest doesn't seem that severe, but like the bigger thing to me, I think is like, as a player, that, 2 objectionable conducts gets you thrown into the game. You have 1. So why are you flopping on a PAT?
Yeah.
Like a PAT, man. Just stand there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, just stand there like everybody else. Like, there is no reason for him to be doing that. Like, he knows whether you like the rule or not, like, that's fine. And I'll hear your argument all day for sure. But I'm just saying, like, you know the rule. You know what the risk is here when you do that. So why even put yourself now? It was so dumb. The first one was bad too. Also on a PAT, by the way. Yeah. And then this one was just like remarkably dumb stuff.
It's like
it was a remarkably bad penalty to take.
Did somebody on the Riders get under his skin so much, and that's what it was? Like, I'm going to try to get you. Like, well, okay, so we're going to redo the PAT? Like, it was just crazy. So I don't like that rule. That is the proper call, obviously. With the ruling of it, that's how it should be. But yeah, I think.
What would you do? What would your penalty for embellishment be?
You know what? I would say 10 yards or just like automatic first down. That is going to get you enough ill will from your teammates if you cost you get a stop and you dive and it costs you a first down, or the other way, repeat the penalty or repeat the down. Let's say a receiver catches it first down, dives, you do repeat second down and bring them back. I think that would be enough for me. Are you like, what do you think? Is the standard rule right now, is that okay?
Are you talking about the two objectionable conducts or the embellishment?
The two objectionable conducts I'm good with, but I mean the embellishment one. Like, could we take that back enough, do you think?
It seems a step below the others, like, because I'm trying to rationalize it, right? Like, I always want to think about like it doesn't, everything else you listed has a degree of severity to it. This one doesn't really.
You're only hurting yourself.
Dumb. Yeah, like, it's really dumb. I think it deserves to get penalized. Should it be the deciding factor in why you get thrown into the game if you commit it as a second objectionable conduct? Maybe not. Like 10 yards is probably fine. You're going to get a mouthful from the coach. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably going to miss a series or two, especially if you're in a position that rotates like defensive linemen. Like, objectionable conduct's too harsh, but I'd be fine with like a 10-yard penalty.
Yeah, and that's what I think. Like, we've got a lot of text rolling here just about that, Greg. So if you're going to call embellishment, be more consistent. Call it all game. It happens more than you think in a game. And like that was pretty obvious. Like, you fly to the ground in that fashion when you're a big dude like that. It's understandable. But that makes it pretty obvious. The ref sees it like, hey, dude, you're not going down that easy. Why would he know the rule and nobody else did? Well, I mean, that's his job. He has to know that. And you know what? If he doesn't know that, then the coaching staff has to make sure they know that. Like, it's pretty simple. In hockey, we see it all the time. And hockey is one where at times I might defend the player, because I've said it a few times. If I'm skating full speed and I get a stick up near my face, I might flinch, and I might flinch bad. So there's sometimes where I'm like, understandable. If you get a skate or a stick in the skates and you really sell it all, arms in the air, then I can understand, okay, yeah, that's a little bit of an embellishment. But in hockey, I think there's kind of a gray area where I'm unsure. The play on Taylor was obvious. Like, he didn't have to go down in that fashion. And by the rule, the ref had to make that call. That's what it was. Tinker says, hey, guys, right before the embellishment happened, a bit of a scrum. Looks like the Edmonton player punched somebody in the gut or the junk. Well, it could have happened. That stuff, especially like in the pile, that stuff's going to happen all the time. So it was just one that, when it happened, I was a little surprised. And part of it was we didn't necessarily get the call in the press box, so we weren't too sure. We learned quickly. And obviously not why the team lost. Kenny Logan going down in the second half was tough. When he was out of the game, I thought the Rough Riders marched down pretty easily. I thought he might get back in. We'll have to kind of go down to practice and see what's happening. But he was working it on the sideline, just couldn't make that jump. But the crowd was unbelievable. And then to stay out there throughout that storm and get into the concourse, where I didn't go in. I was in the AC press box. So nothing. I wasn't going out there, but I heard it was very hot and humid. So to hang around there, I'm sure people would have probably had a couple of drinks to try and stay cool, but it was a really good atmosphere. The tailgate was phenomenal. The people out there were having a really good time, and good football game. The Edmonton Elks now going to turn their attention to Montreal. MTR texting in 1-833-401-1440. You guys wait till that Puka Nacua contract comes in. Yeah. And I mean, I think that if you were to look at it, it probably just drops in a little bit over Jackson Smith the Jigba, right? 42.15. How much more do you want? He went over Jamar Chase by just under $2 million. So if you follow that strategy, you went to like an even $44 million potentially. The Rams might have some cap management to work on. I don't exactly know off the top of my head how much Puka Nacua has left in his deal. This would be year 3, so obviously he's going to be eligible because he was a later round pick. But yeah, that's another guy. He's absolutely going to get paid. And it's good to see that it's going up. The cap's going up. That's fine. Good to see running backs get this type of money again as well. And there was a little spurt there. We're probably still going a little bit where teams are a little hesitant to make that pay. JSN is great, but Puka does so much more. Yeah, but I still don't know how much the Rams are going to be willing to just like throw more money. Like, I think it's still going to be relatively close to that 42 number. And then who comes up next? Jamar Chase is under contract for a while here. Who's the next man up? Who's the next really good young receiver right now in the NFL? I mean, Carnell Tate with the Tennessee Titans, probably pretty happy. Maybe he's going to get that big payday.
Jeremiah Smith, I know he's in college right now, but by the time he's there to get paid, like
he'll be getting north of 50.
$400 million.
Yeah. How high does he go?
Oh, in the draft.
We're talking NFL draft.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about contract, like legitimately. No, in the draft. I mean, he's better than Carnell Tate, and Carnell Tate went. So, yeah, top 3 maybe. Obviously, positional need plays such a big factor into it. But like talent-wise, I would argue he's a clear number 1. So I'll say top 3 as it stands right now, August 4th.
Let's say number 1 pick. Are you Arch Manning, Dante Moore?
Wow.
Ohio State is a pretty good quarterback too, right?
Julian saying, yeah, he is really good. I think he's probably one of the top 10, maybe just outside of the top 10 players in college football. Yeah, Connor, I'll agree with you. Yep. Arch Manning, Dante Moore, 1, 2.
Okay, I'm going to say Jeremiah Smith goes 4.
Behind?
All 3 quarterbacks.
Oh, behind Julian saying as well. Okay.
Because you're going to have the Cards who probably want a quarterback, the Dolphins. I think the Jets will be in there looking for a quarterback. And I feel like all those 3 teams could be pretty bad. So that's my from August 4th. We're half a year away, more than that. 1-833-401-1440. Tedero McMillan. Yeah? We'll have to wait and see for sure. But that's probably that good young receiver, obviously taken last year. Very highly produced. If he keeps it going, he'll be smiling. 45 mil plus per season. It would be all right. 1-833-401-1440. That is a text line. We're also going to be talking some Toronto Blue Jays today on the show. Mike Wilner going to join us from the Deep Left Field podcast, as well as the Toronto Star. I'd love to get people's thoughts on the trade deadline for the Blue Jays. Obviously, in the position they are, playing better ball, 4 games back, a lot of teams in between getting into that final wild card spot. Gosman, nobody's surprised by that one. Good to see him go to the Chicago Cubs. I think Mark Spector must be the happiest guy in Edmonton when that news dropped. The trade to the Angels is kind of the interesting one. Jose Soriano, we know he was a stud to start the year for the Angels. Kind of fallen off. You got him for a couple more years. He's been a good pitcher. It's another good addition. The name was Namala, who was the Jays, I believe, top-ranked prospect. Top 2. Like, interesting guy. We'll see what happens. I think that, for this team, we have such high hopes, high expectations after what happened last year. I don't know if they were ever going to get there, but I'm glad they didn't totally just blow it up. Like, there's still some pieces coming back, getting an arm for next year, which you're going to have for a couple more years. Assuming they play baseball, I think that was good. I think when I look at this whole trade deadline for the Blue Jays, though, like, it was a passing grade, but not amazing. You're trading things away. Obviously, it's going to be hard to have an A+ thing unless you're getting a bunch of stud prospects back. But I didn't hate it for the Jays. Ryan the Ass fan says the best thing the Jays did was not moving Varland. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll see. Is there any hope? Wilner gives it to us straight. We'll ask him, is there any chance they get on a run here? They've won 4 of their last 5. Almost had a sweep over the weekend. We'll see how it plays out. But either way, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm just like defending the Dodgers or if I'm like kind of rooting for them now. I don't think I'm rooting for them, but I feel like they're getting so much unnecessary flack. All teams in the major leagues could have made that deal to get Skubal. Like, you could go out there and try to make a better offer. They did it. I understand the frustration, Tucker in the offseason, Edwin Diaz, they just throw all the money at it. But all these teams can do it. The Mets still have a higher payroll than them. I think it's $4 million the Mets have spent more than the Dodgers this season. I think the Dodgers deserve a little bit more credit for what they've been able to do, like drafting well, developing well. Having that financial background certainly doesn't hurt. Winning helps. It's going to lure all these free agents who want to go there. But I don't think I was as rattled as some people when it came to the LA Dodgers over the weekend. And now the question, Dodgers or the field? Who do you think when it comes into the World Series, the playoffs? Can't believe the Niners. I can't believe the Ops have JSN and Puka, and the Niners have Ricky Pearsall. Well, they could have had Puka, along with a lot of teams. Declan and I were actually working the Jackson Smith-Njigba draft. And I will say I was very high on him when he was falling, and I was selfishly, as a Chargers fan, I remember thinking like, okay, a couple more picks here. We might have something. He started the run of these receivers in that draft. They would have been the Dolphins, but they had their pick forfeited. The Chargers took Quentin Johnston. Then it was Zay Flowers to the Ravens, who got paid, and then Jordan Addison. So close, Declan. I would have been so happy if that man would have fallen, one more spot. But the Chargers probably still would have taken Quentin Johnston.
As they should have, bro. He had such an unreal year at TCU that year.
Get him the ball. Let him go.
He had Max Duggan as a Heisman finalist.
He's
like the fourth string quarterback in Toronto right now.
Yeah. Is that where he is?
It's either Toronto or Ottawa.
He is in the CFL. Yeah, we did see his name pop up here. Hey, 8 touchdowns last couple of years, over 700 yards. Good wide receiver, too. I think that's kind of what the Chargers have, though. A couple wide receivers, too. Today on the show, lots to get to, as we mentioned. Of course, we're going to be talking some football with Rick Walters. He's going to join us via the video, the stream. We've got Dave McCarthy from the Sirius XM NHL Network. Talk some hockey, Spec, Cam Tate, Mike Wellner to look at the Jays. But coming up next, Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine will join us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. We've got Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan as well, and Connor the intern. Wherever you're watching, if you're watching and you can, make sure you hit that like button. We appreciate it. And if you want to watch, head over to Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering, a happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day? For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Ford employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament. Friday, August 28th at Millwoods Golf Course. Golf, drinks, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's grads and helps graduates shine on graduation day. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca before it sells out.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Darnell Wright got a contract, Declan? Didn't he just get drafted yesterday? Jeez. I thought he's just a baby. He is. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. A little reminder here, the gold ball jackpot tomorrow, $42 million. And tonight, Lotto Max, $20 million, PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor with you here as we're getting you through the Jason Gregor Show. Jason returns later on this week, but you got us for a couple more days. Some stuff happening in the sporting world. As we go to commercial break, I check my phone. How about the Chicago Bears and Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, agreeing to an extension, $116 million over 4 years, 93 of which is guaranteed. So that's not too shabby. And then you've got the Atlanta Falcons, who's Jalon Walker. Looks like he might be done for the year. I hate training camp to a certain extent. I've seen Rashawn Slater left practice today. Just so many injuries going on. And then for the Titans, Jeremy Simmons threw a punch. NFL training camps. You got to love it. Let's talk a little hockey, though, right now as we go around the NHL for McDonald's. Welcome to cone season at McDonald's. Vanilla cones are just $1 each plus tax all summer long, exclusively in the McDonald's app. Download the app and enjoy $1 cones only at McDonald's in Canada. As we are joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine. Kevin, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Connor?
Doing good. Yeah, looking forward to hockey getting going. Kind of the dog days right now, but you are heading to Boston for USA Hockey, and we're talking goaltenders here, and it's been a topic. We even brought it up last week after your hit about development with a goaltender position. So you're going to watch USA Hockey. We've seen their goalies. I mean, the topic was crazy at the Olympics with how much depth they had. For Canada, it just hasn't been that way in a long time. So what are they doing different or even better than us?
You know what? I don't know if it's so much different but I think you can make an argument it's better. There's just more resources committed to it. The symposium I'm headed to is the second annual National Goaltending Symposium that USA Hockey has put on. I was at the first one 2 years ago in Minnesota, and this seems to be the plan. Every 2 years, they're going to get together and they're going to bring in, they have tiering on goalie coaching certification, bronze, silver, gold. and they bring in some of their gold candidates, you don't automatically get rubber stamped. You actually have to qualify at the gold level. You have a year-long project, and you basically are presenting it as part of this symposium, and you're getting graded on it and whether you pass and get that certification or not. Last time I was there, I think most passed, but some had to make alterations. So it wasn't just a rubber stamp. It was a process. Now, Hockey Canada does the same. When they get to that ultimate tier, they bring that group together for a camp. What they don't do is turn it into a 3-day symposium with 150 coaches from all over the country coming in to share ideas, to hear the presentations, to learn. Not necessarily to come to consensus on some things, but the concept, and it's one that was born in Finland originally. It's one that we've seen echoed in Sweden and now Russia, where you have all these coaches from all over the country and you get them together and you share ideas, you share concepts, you share evolutions. And again, not necessarily requiring a consensus that everyone has to, okay, we all agree on this, we're all going to go do it this way from now on, but just that sort of open dialogue from coaches of different regions. And so I applaud that. We don't have that up here. This is an initiative they've had now. Like I said, this is the second one. And in addition to the gold presenters, you have Mike Condon coming in he was just at the Montreal Canadiens development camp to speak to, he's now got a master's degree in psychology after a great playing career, to speak to that. How do we bridge the gap between physical training and mental training? How do we bring those two worlds together? And that's an important one because I think that's a resource that gets overlooked a lot. You've got Stephen Veliquette coming into, hey, all these analytics that you hear me talk about on the radio and stuff, how do we bring that onto the ice? How do I bring it onto the ice in practice? We've got on-ice demos with Aaron Frankel, Gwyneth Phillips from the gold medal winning American team. Again, them on the ice, mic'd up, walking through drills with 150 to 200 coaches listening. Jacob Fowler's doing the same thing. Jeremy Swayman's going to be there with his University of Maine goalie coach, Alfie Michaud, showing how they do video reviews. Like it's a whole bunch of knowledge and a lot of goalie coaches from all over the country coming to sort of soak it in. And then there's a fair, like a trade show on the final day where you can check out like the latest tech and presentations on, some of the, you've heard me talk about virtual reality and what a big tool it's become, like a legitimate tool, not a game for goalies right up to the NHL. We've got guys using it in the intermission and locker rooms to sharpen their eyes and their hands when they're not feeling great. Like it's a legit tool. And so how do you discover more of these types of tools? You go to a trade show like this and where you get to see it for the first time. So I really applaud that. And at the same time, like you're right. We see what they have now. The question is it going to continue? Because I think this was a down draft for them, right? So there's this line, and I think we've seen this if we compare it to other countries, even amongst those that are making the greatest efforts, where you can hit a point of diminishing returns. And we see it, I think, a little bit. Thomas Magnusson, who led the Swedish sort of revolution of goaltending and was the director of Swedish goaltending up until I think just a year and a half ago when he retired, he's actually going to be one of the presenters at this event. So they bring in international flavor. But I think we've seen in Sweden, the goalies have become so technical that it actually may hurt them, at least from an NHL draft perspective. They aren't having the same impact they used to have. The question is that starting to happen in the States? Are we starting to see for lack of a better term, an institutionalization of their goaltenders, where it's a really fine line, Connor, between wanting everybody to sort of get on the same page, but then having everybody learning the same thing and creating a bunch of goalies that all do the same things at all times. So it's something I know they're cognizant of. A lot of the conversations around battles around like smaller nets and small area games. And, how do we get more goalies? They have a goalie shortage in the United States. And it'll be interesting to see if Connor Hellebuyck winning a gold medal and the heroics that came with that leads to a rise, like we saw in Quebec with the Brodeur and Waugh era, like we saw in Finland with Kiprusoff, and Sweden with Lundqvist, and now Russia with Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky and Shesterkin. Like, does that inspire the next generation? Because 2 years ago at this thing, I couldn't believe how low the numbers were. Like, instead of 2 goalies on every team, they were barely 1 goalie on every team based on registration numbers. And there were large pockets where they're having trouble finding goaltenders. And I think this is increasingly a problem in Canada. We've vilified the position. We talk about how expensive it is. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be goalies, that type of mentality. And I'm starting to hear anecdotally across the country where there are shortages of goaltenders in minor hockey.
Now, you did mention the trade show there. So two-part question. Are you going to go? And if so, what piece of technology is you the most intrigued? Like, what are you checking out?
To be honest, I haven't seen, like, I will be there. There's going to be presentations during the trade show. There will actually be on-ice demonstrations as well as a Q&A with Aaron Frankel, who just won PWHL Goalie of the Year. So you've sort of got this mixture of like conference and public trade show going on together, and a great chance for the public to come and see some of this stuff. I think the Fowler demonstration actually is on that day as well, where he's on the ice. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think some of the wearable technology, like 2 years ago, that was one of the things that impressed me the most, like the ability to go on the ice and measure butterfly drops, for example. Like, we know that every time you drop into a butterfly, it is 2 times your body weight force being applied to the hips and the knees and the ankles. So, I've been eating light this summer, but I'm still cruising around 175. So every time I hit the butterfly, that's 350 pounds of force being delivered. It's the equivalent of an Olympic clean and jerk. So we have all this wearable tech that you see in the NHL. You've seen it. They come out of the locker room. They've got the little devices, and the trainer, the staff comes over and pulls it out of their, like, that measures butterfly drops, measuring that force. Like, how do we find new ways to keep goalies healthier, longer? How do we eliminate some of the hip injuries? I think anything in that field is something I'll be looking for. But admittedly, selfishly, I'll also be at my booth because In Goal will have a presence there as well. We're partnered with USA Hockey on this. We're going to be capturing all the content, including the on-ice demonstrations, for both our audience and so they can use it as teaching tools. So it's not just the 150 people that are there, so they can share it with the rest of the country and in terms of some of the lessons that come from this thing. And also In Goal will have a presence at the trade show for people that want to buy subscriptions, because I always got to be selling, Connor.
Absolutely. I'd be crazy if you weren't at a trade show doing that. It's Kevin Woodley joining us from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. So, we talked about Canada and US, but obviously you're trying to track down those European development models. I mean, what are the challenges that go along with that?
I think it's funny because we talked about, like, the comparison I would make, and not my words. I've talked to other goalie coaches about this. We talk about the Swedish one. I'm really curious to talk to Thomas Magnuson about how it's perceived. Like, do they perceive it the same way as outsiders did? That Swedish goaltenders have gotten technical almost to a fault, and that all this teaching that they learn, creates, I hate the term robots, but it's just the easiest analogy for people to sort of glom onto. I don't think it's accurate, but the reality is there's a similarity in how they play. It feels blocky at times, less reactionary. And do they feel at all like the institutionalization, like they've coached out some of the raw stuff and created that type of goaltender? In Canada and North America, it's not so much institutionalization, although there is that, that conversation in the United States. In Canada, we don't have that because we don't really have, we talked about the early comparisons. One of the things they have is like staff dedicated to goaltending in the USA that puts on these symposiums and runs the bronze and the silver and the gold medal clinics online. In Canada, there is no one person overseeing goaltending. We haven't had that for over a decade now. Ever since Freddie Brathwaite went to work for the Vegas Golden Knights farm team in Henderson, we haven't had that. We haven't had a full-time guy, which, I'll be honest with you, seems a little insane. Like, the goaltending is left to other people who are goalies, but their day job is something else. And so to me, that's a little short-sighted. I think there's more that can go into it. But in North America, it's not so much the institutionalization we have to worry about as it is the commercialization. At the end of the day, whether it's, your national governing body or just the private goalie schools you go to, you send your kids to, the sort of problems are the same. Are we teaching them too much on the technical side at too young an age? Are we creating goalies who succeed at young ages based on being able to move efficiently and take up space, as opposed to reading the game, developing instincts, some of the things that, again, another phrase I hate, but it resonates with people. Are we creating goalie school goalies, right? Where they succeed in drills, but in games they can't handle it. And so, this is the next step in Russia, in Eastern Europe, which is really popular. Everybody's looking there. They've got these inspiring goalies that create everybody wanting to play the position, Bob and Vasilevsky and Shesterkin and Sorokin, like everybody wants to be a goalie. And so you have this mass influx. Then the problem becomes, like, when you talk to them, they learn a lot of stuff at a young age, but it's mostly skills and skating. They don't add the technical elements that we sometimes see taught as young as like 8 and 9 here until they're in their teens there. And the question is, like, at what point does that start to trickle down? Does that institutionalization start to become too early? Right now, they've got a really nice balance. Will we see that push down, or will they manage to maintain that? That's one of the biggest challenges for European goaltenders. That's what people believe has happened in Sweden a little bit, right? Like just teaching them too much too soon and not allowing those instincts to come out. The one thing I hear the most about young goalies from NHL goalie coaches when they go out into the summers and talk to these kids and work with these kids, and you got guys like Mitch Korn, that, you know, goalie coaching legend, should be in the Hall of Fame, and aside from me, but still this year completed his 50th summer goalie camp tour, where he goes around the States and goes to all his goalie camps. 50 years, because he believes that he learns as much from them as they do from him. But it's all skills based at a young age, right? So, you know, where do you hit that point where you get too much too soon, too technical? They don't watch enough hockey. Most goalies don't watch enough hockey. That's the thing I hear the most. They don't watch enough hockey. They don't learn to connect the patterns of the game, and they become very reliant on just being in a place and letting the puck hit them.
Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine. One more before we let you go here. And I remember, you know, I was working with the Edmonton Oil Kings way back when this happened, 2014, and there was the CHL import draft ban of European goalies. I think it lasted 4 or 5 years. Could there be a case to bring that back?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was a little ignorant at the time, thinking it was just a little xenophobic to be blocking out all these other countries. And now, like, maybe I've had enough examples now where I see it firsthand. Like, we have a development window problem for our goaltenders as well once they hit certain ages. Like, that's part of the challenge here. Like, if you think about it, most goalies don't get to start in the CHL till 18. Like, before some get in at 17, but then they spend the entire year because there's no feeder system. Like, we don't have a system where you can have a 17-year-old goalie in the CHL, and if he hasn't played in 10 days, you send him down to a junior A team and get him a bunch of starts. Like, we don't have an NHL, AHL feeder system for our CHL teams. So you got 17-year-olds who spend an entire development year on the bench riding buses. And then in their 18, they get a shot maybe. By the time they're 19, if they haven't hit, they're done. Like, they're done. They're done in the CHL. There's no 20-year-old goalies, or very few. And that is such a small window. Now, the NCAA rules that allow CHL goalies to go to the NCAA is going to extend that window for sure, artificially. But there are a lot of kids that are getting caught in between, and I'm seeing it at every level. This is going to be a topic of conversation at the USA Hockey Symposium Summit this weekend for the USHL and the NAHL level. Like, we've extended the window with college hockey being open to more people. But at the same time, we continue to the goalies that want to get into that college hockey feeder system include Europeans. And they come over and take the 19 and 20-year-old spots for goalies in not just the CHL, but in the BCHL, in the USHL, and the NAHL. And every time they take a spot, that's another North American kid whose window just got closed that much shorter. And what do we hear all the time about goaltending, Connor? Like, it's, you know, at the NHL level, when you draft a kid, goalies take longer. Well, we just cut off their development window at 18 and 19 in North America. So I don't know if a ban is the answer. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but maybe something along the lines of, you know, because we don't see 20-year-old goalies because there's only so many spots. And I guess if you were to allow 20-year-old goalies, that's one less spot for a 17-year-old to start that little tiny window. But exempting North Americans from the limits. So maybe a goalie coming over from Europe. And by the way, European goalies come over here and they have a fantastic system. One of the reasons Russia has so much success is they have so many places for their own goalies to play and to almost over-ripen. We hear a lot about goalies getting stuck in the MHL before they can get to the KHL, being good enough but not getting opportunities. At least they're playing, right? Because there's places for them to play. When was the last time you saw somebody go the other way? So Sweden, Finland, all these European countries, guys coming over and playing in North American Junior trying to get the NCAA, who like the spots they take don't get opened up on the other side. The Swedish leagues aren't, welcoming North Americans with open arms to come take some of those spots and have access to those development windows. So if we can find some way to sort of balance that out, and maybe it's not a ban, maybe it's just, teams aren't punished. They're rewarded somehow for giving a North American kid a longer development window. I think there'd be a benefit there. And like I said, I used to be one of those people that just scream, no, you got to let them play. There's value to having them. But I've seen it now firsthand. I've heard from enough sort of development people, both in Canada and the United States, that this is a very real problem, and it's very much a one-way street, and it's at the expense of that ever important window getting closed, and a lot of guys just quitting. And they may have been 1 year away from the breakthrough that launches them to a Connor Hellebuyck-like rise, and they've got no place to find it.
Good answer. Yeah, I remember when that rule came in, I was thinking the same thing as you. Like, well, maybe we should just try to be better. But, the way things have gone the last 12 years, it doesn't hurt to try, I suppose. Kevin, thanks so much for doing this today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Hey, why don't we do both? Why don't we hire somebody and actually have a national goaltending director and build out a program and provide more? Like, let's do both. Put those hands together, Connor.
There is a solution there. I nominate you to lead it.
Yeah, they can't afford me.
Common sense will prevail. Thanks, Kev.
Thanks.
There you go. Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine joining us here on the Gregor Show. That was Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some Toronto Blue Jays. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped, top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
CanTorque has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit JapaEquipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
He came home, and right away I saw that look in his eyes. I knew what was coming. Before I could even speak, he raised his hand
and just kept texting me, asking where I was, demanding I respond immediately or I'd regret it. It hurt.
More than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Fruit Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here in the Sports 1440 studio. We've even got intern Connor along for the ride as well. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, let's get right into it. The MLB report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home with a no payment, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca, as we are joined by Mike Wilner, of course, covers the Blue Jays with the Deep Left Field podcast and Toronto Star. Mike, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you joining us on the program today. So the trade deadline is come and gone for the Toronto Blue Jays. Some of the obvious names have been moved. Let's dive into each of these trades individually, and I just want to get your thoughts on each of them. We're starting with Kevin Gausman going to the Cubs. So what did you make of that landing spot for Gausman, a guy who was beloved by Jays fans, and also the return for the team?
You know what? I didn't really pay much attention to the landing spot. The Cubs are the top team in the National League wildcard race, and everybody can use starting pitching. He's going to help that team out a lot, and he might even start on Thursday against the Blue Jays in the makeup game for the rainout from a couple of months ago. So that would be pretty cool. They traded 2 months of Kevin Gausman, and look, beloved, absolutely, by me as well. Great friend of my program, Deep Left Field, and he was a huge part of what the Blue Jays had done the last 5 years. Might be the best free agent signing in club history. But if you remove his name and who he is, you're looking at a 35-year-old with a 5.80 ERA over the past 2 months. And that's someone that you try to get something for when you're out of the race. And the return, who knows? It's 2 lottery tickets, but they're both high contact, great speed, good defense, no power at all, left-handed hitters, which, kind of seems to be the Blue Jays type. If you hit on one of them, you've done incredibly well. And I'm really interested to see this Brett Bateman, the AAA center fielder that they got in the deal. If you squint, he looks kind of like a skill set of the Tampa Bay's Chandler Simpson, which would be incredible. And I really hope he gets a shot over these last 2 months, but we'll see.
Jose Soriano coming over from the Angels. Soriano, had a great start to this season, but it does cost you one of your top prospects. Did you like this deal for the Jays? And of course, you have control for the next 2.5-ish seasons.
Yeah, ish, depending on whether there's a season next year, right?
Yeah.
Look, that's what you have to give up to get a 27-year-old controllable starting pitcher with all-star potential. It's one of those trades that hurts to make, but it's one of those trades that you make 1,000 times out of 1,000. Think about some of the prospects that the Blue Jays have hung on to for dear life over the years who haven't amounted to anything. Nate Pearson leaps to mind. You always trade potential for proven. And Jose Soriano is proven, and he's got room to grow. Trading Arjun Namala hurts for sure, even though he'd been passed by JoJo Parker on the team's depth chart for prospects. Trading him hurts, but it's something you have to do when you have a chance to get a Jose Soriano. So no problem with that one at all.
Mike Wilner of Deep Left Field joins us. Also covers the team for the Toronto Stars. Taking a look at the Jays here on the Jason Gregor Show. Dalton Varsho, obviously he hasn't had a very good year. Spencer Arrighetti has some potential. And again, another guy who's under control till 2030. You like this move for the team?
Again, you're getting 4 years of Spencer Arrighetti for 2 months of Dalton Varsho. And if Dalton Varsho had been playing like Dalton Varsho this year, then maybe this doesn't happen. Of course, you'd also need Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to be playing like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But Dalton Varsho is having arguably the worst year of his career, and his defense has even been up and down, which it never had been before. So you're not really, I hate to say it, losing anything by trading Dalton Varsho, and you're getting a big league pitcher who's made 50 starts in the majors at a sort of an average level. This is the kind of pitcher that the Blue Jays have been missing for a very long time. They got 3 of them yesterday. These optionable, up and down, bottom of the rotation starters who can fill in when you need some help. So again, I never imagined they would get an actual big leaguer for Varsho. I thought it would be some sort of a minor league lottery ticket who had about a 15% chance of working out. So yeah, I mean, again, love Varsho, and he's been a huge piece of this team for 4 years, but they're 6 games under 500. So these are the moves you make. And this is, it's not particularly fun, but it was a good deal.
Mike, when I look at the standings here and they're 4 games back, and it seems like, okay, that's possible. Like, crazier things have happened, but you've also got the Tigers, Orioles, Mariners, Rangers, and Twins in between the Jays in that final wild card spot. If you had to, would you put anything down on this team finding a way to squeak into the wild card spot, or do you think that's just wishful thinking?
They're 4 games back with 49 games to go. And, it's not hockey. It doesn't matter how many teams are in front of you, right? Nobody gets points for losing like they do in hockey. So which makes it a lot tougher to climb over teams in the standings. And the Orioles and Tigers blew up their teams this weekend. They sold heavily at the deadline. The Rangers didn't do anything to improve. The Mariners made minimal improvements. So all of these teams stink in front of the Blue Jays, all of them. The Blue Jays kind of stink too, but 4 games in 2 months is nothing. You're 3 games out on Labor Day. You think you've got a shot. The Blue Jays did not kneecap their team for the rest of this year. Arguably, they got a little bit better at the deadline, though certainly not significantly. But yeah, there's certainly the opportunity for them to sneak into the playoffs.
And just before we let you go, Mike, just looking around the majors, the LA Dodgers obviously go and get Turk Skubal. Big addition. They're 9 games up in the NL West. If you had to right now, do you have a team that you think would be the biggest threat to them in the playoffs, or do you think it's kind of the Dodgers to win once again?
It's baseball, man. All you need is a chip in the chair, right? Anybody can beat anybody in a best of 5. The Dodgers are not this huge invincible beast. Tarek Skubal's already had elbow surgery this year. Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, a couple of the starting pitchers they're counting on, are legit pieces of glass, both of whom are on the injured list now that they hope they'll be healthy for October. It feels like, and I wrote a column about this. It was in the paper on Sunday, and you can find it at thestar.com. It feels like the Dodgers are the big, villains throwing their weight around. They're not. They're just trying to win, and almost nobody else in baseball is trying to win. It is shameful that the Dodgers got Tarek Skubal, but not because the Dodgers got Tarek Skubal, but because teams like the Brewers and Rays wouldn't step up and give up good prospects to get Tarek Skubal. And it's even more shameful that the Tigers traded him while they were 2.5 games out. So, the Dodgers almost lost to the Padres a couple of years ago. They almost lost to the Phillies in the playoffs last year. They're the favorites, sure. Do they have more than a 20% chance of winning the whole thing? No.
I love that answer. I totally agree with you. Other teams could have got out there and got him and didn't. Don't vilify them for this one. That one, they did what good teams do, right? They went out, added an arm, and we'll see how it plays out. They have lost 4 in a row, so that's something. Mike, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. That is Mike Wilner. Covers the Jays, the Toronto Star, and the Deep Left Field podcast around the majors. And it's interesting. I mean, I still like the Dodgers. I think if they get healthy, that lineup they're going to roster is just unbelievable, 1 through 9. That being said, the Jays got about as close as you could last year. Couple big additions to this team, but they are loaded, kind of running away with that West, despite even losing 4 games in a row. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by former CFLer Rick Walters. We'll recap the week in the CFL, probably get his thoughts on the NFL as well. Zay Flowers getting absolutely paid. Declan Kruger will tell you all about that one in the update, brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 17,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 new vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
As you just heard from Connor Halley, Zay Flowers and the Baltimore Ravens finalizing a 4-year, $148 million extension, $108 million guaranteed for the star receiver. Elsewhere in the NFL, Bijan Robinson signing a 3-year, $75 million extension, and Darnell Wright signing a deal to become the highest-paid right tackle in NFL history with the Chicago Bears at 4 years, $116 million, $93 million guaranteed. MLB action will get going at 4:35 today with the Angels and Orioles. At 4:40, it'll be the A's and the Reds, Mets and Guardians, and Nats and Phillies. Then later on tonight, we will see the Toronto Blue Jays and the Houston Astros. 6:10 first pitch for that one. Trey Savage on the bump for the Jays. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Barkells to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Fruit Squad, Morningwood, Rockzilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the 1s and 2s, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jazz Brab and 118th.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen.
I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
You know I'm back, like I never left. Another sprint, another step, another day, another breath. Chasing dreams, but I never slept.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Need equipment on the job fast? Japa Equipment Rentals in Atchison has you covered. Excavators, wheel loaders, compact equipment, and more backed by expert service. Visit japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Of course, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You can head over there. The Lotto Max tonight, $20 million. You also got the Gold Ball Jackpot tomorrow, $42 million. And head over to the Sports Second. Check out the Jason Gregor Show picks, and you can see Dex Selects. He's got the Valkyries covering the spread tonight against the Toronto Tempo. It's 12 points. We'll maybe talk about that one a little bit later. We got some Blue Jays parlays as well. Jays winning plus the under 8.5. They've been winning low-scoring games. So, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, they'll be taking that. And plus, it'd be great for them in their pursuit to try to get back into the playoffs. But right now, we're going to talk some football, mostly CFL, but a little NFL as well. As we get to the big guest of the day, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints, and they're looking forward to their opening night, September 18th, and a spectacular season. Staines Hockey School running from the 24th to the 28th of August, including all ages, U9, U11, U13, and U16. Sign up today at sgsaints.ca as we bring in Rick Walters, former CFLer, Grey Cup champion in 2003. Rick, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you. How are you, Connor?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to talking to you because, we've talked about it a lot on this show. I mean, 2001, 2002, that's when I really got into the CFL. Loved watching your Eskimos teams back then, and this is a pleasure for me. So glad to have you joining us here on this show, and we'll kick things off with the green and gold, obviously, over the weekend. Not the game they would have wanted in the end. I think there were some good things in that game, but, most important, 31,000 people getting out there to support the team. They saw a good game. That was kind of the crowd we had expected. So I just want to ask you, when you go back to your playing days, I know the crowds were fantastic at Commonwealth. Just how much of an addition is that to have the fans back in the building?
Oh, it was great. I was at the game. It was a good vibe. It felt like I hate being that boomer that talks about things that happened in the past, but it really did feel like going back 10, 15 years ago where it was commonplace to have 30,000 plus in the stands. One of the neat kind of additions that they had, which I hadn't really known about how massive and how they've grown it, was the tailgate part of what they do. So we went for the first time last year to a couple games and so went to this one, and it's amazing what they've kind of turned it into over the last 2-3 years. It's grown to be. I really don't think Edmontonians or the CFL have a good grasp of what goes on down there and what it really looks and feels like to tailgate and pregame. It's more like an American, obviously, feel, and just to go and be amongst that many people in that kind of environment, it really is kind of cool. So I think that kind of set the stage for just what the atmosphere kind of is like down there for that game, anyways.
100%. And we did a little video of our experience at the game on our socials. You can go check it out. And I wanted to make sure we highlighted the tailgate because it's awesome. You've got the live music, you got food and drinks, all like-minded people, just football fans. I saw a guy in a Ladian Tomlinson Texas Christian jersey, so I had to go talk to him for a few minutes because that's something you don't typically see at a CFL game. But it was Riders fans and Elks fans. Everyone just there for a good time and funneling into the game. When you go back, you look at that game, Rick, and one of the things that I've been kind of impressed with, up and down with, was the Elks' ability to run the football. And it's been a couple games now in a row where Justin Rankin hasn't been able to get going. The game in Saskatchewan, though, I like that they didn't go away from him. They still kept that 13 carries to keep that Riders defense honest. A little bit less in this game. I believe it was 8 officially. But when you just look at this Edmonton Elks offense, what stood out to you as a positive at the start to the season? And is there any criticism you'd have for it?
Positive would be obviously the play of Rankin has been huge. He's been dynamic. He's clearly one of the premier players in the CFL. And so just his ability to make people miss and to do things, the unexpected, and he's got, surprisingly, maybe it's not surprising, but he's got really good hands as well. And not all tailbacks, maybe new age tailbacks probably have that kind of skill set where you're like a Christian McCaffrey kind of guy, or where you're able to do a whole bunch of different things, and he can do that. So for sure that's probably the number one thing. Number two would be just them finding a number one receiver. I think Mac has clearly identified himself to be somebody that is going to take coverage. So he's going to have one or two people that are probably looking at him for most of the time, which opens up a couple other things for other receivers and running backs, and so it just helps the offense as a whole. And then probably the play of Fajardo, and in all honesty, he's I would say the knock or the common misconception is that he's a game manager, and he throws hitches and checkdowns and screens, which he does. He does throw those at a high rate. But he also, if you're able to give him time, he'll be able to throw the deep ball and throw seams, and he's able to do that really, really well. And a lot of that is all based on Rankin. So the more you see him involved, the better it is. So those, and probably probably the big one that kind of brings it all together is probably the play of the O-line. They've been great. Carter's been great. O'Donnell's been great. Mark Corte stepping in for Dave has played well, and the tackles have been really, really good too. And I know they've went through some injuries, but they've you can see that Ed has done a really good job from a depth perspective, and the fact that they've been able to put others in, and they've been okay. In terms of things that not disappointed in, but things that maybe they can continue to work on. It kind of reared its head again in this game. I would say red zone. I love kickers, but the only time you really want to see a kicker is when he's kicking extra points. If you're kicking too many field goals, you're probably going to get caught, or it's going to, somehow bite you in the butt sometime down the line. So kicking too many field goals is not you want to keep adding points, but 7s are way better than 3s. So I would say that's been a kind of an up and down thing, as well as probably first down production, especially in the run game. If you're able to get to second and mid, second and short, eat up some chunk plays on your first down production, then you're able to, for the most part, achieve well as an offense in the CFL, where really at all football levels. And so I think it was just a little bit inconsistent, and it's been inconsistent a little bit. So those are probably my only two real negatives. I think they want to continue to feature Rankin in the run game, and don't ever go away from him, because he's like one touch away from a score. But you got to find different ways to get him the ball. Last week we talked a little bit about maybe spreading out the run game a little bit. So whether it's 5 wide or keep them wide, or keep the guys static so there's not as much movement. Try and keep the box a little bit static. I would try to encourage some of that, just so you can get the line. For linemen, sometimes guys, whether it's cross motion or moving, it cloudies the box, and you're not able to see who you're going to block sometimes. So I think some of those would be helpful in terms of what they're looking at going forward.
A longtime CFLer Rick Walters joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in, a longtime coach as well. And I want to ask you about Noah Taylor, because he was ejected from this game, and I will be the first to admit I did not know that embellishment has led to objectionable conduct, which could get you kicked out of the game. Like, in my mind, I think that 10 yards, loss of a first down, replaying the down, something like that would be enough. But so we had people texting into our text line saying, well, maybe he did not know. Is that an excuse? Like, do you think, and what was, as a coach and as a player, what was the process of, hammering that in on guys? Like, these are the rules, do not break them, especially when you've already had one with contact to an official. Like, wouldn't there have been a conversation with him? Like, hey, these are the things that can get you kicked out.
Well, I think that's a tough one, because embellishing is something that is probably new to the game. I'm sure it came up because of all the World Cup soccer, and so we decided to incorporate that into football as well. As well as the two misconducts and you're out. That's a newer style penalty. So the contacting ref, you're always going to get a penalty for that one. But the embellishing one, I usually, and this is where it's kind of interesting. Sometimes an experienced referee, I don't know who threw the flag, but he might hold that one back, especially if he knows that the player's already got one misconduct penalty. So, I don't, like, even on the sidelines, I don't even know as a coach you're overly thinking about. I think now, because of the 2 and you're gone, that's probably part of their protocol where the head coach or somebody's mentioning it to them, that if you get another one, you're out. And I'm sure embellishing was the last thing that they thought about happening. And even he, I'm sure that didn't even cross his mind as a penalty. I guess that going forward, he should just learn how to stay on his feet a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea, and we didn't get it up in the press box, so I thought he might have been injured or anything. But looking at the embellishing came in about 2019, so yeah, that one threw me off for sure, and that's a good point. Seeing the World Cup hard to miss that one. I want to ask you, because you played a long time with Ed Hervey, and he's just done such a phenomenal job building up the depth on this team. When you guys were playing together, 1999, early 2000s, did you foresee him getting into scouting and then eventually becoming a GM?
That's a really good question. Ed was always a smart guy, and because we would spend a lot of time at the back of the receiver room and kind of talk concepts and talk players, and we were always trying to figure out how things worked, and I thought either coaching or scouting that he would get into for sure, because he kind of looked at the game more than just the game. Like we were always trying to figure out how to disrupt the defense or how to get an advantage offensively. A lot of times when somebody's you look at him, he's fast, he's taller, he's from Compton. Like you didn't think that he was going to be the guy that would be the general manager of the Edmonton Elks coming down the line, but everything else about him speaks to he's thoughtful. He doesn't make quick decisions. He's always trying to figure out and get an edge, and so he's great with numbers, and he's always he's super competitive. So at that time, maybe not. I thought maybe scout, but all the qualities that you see. He's honest, sometimes honest to a fault. And you kind of saw, I was able to go back and rewatch the game when I got back home, and I saw the interview that he did at halftime. And that kind of exactly who he is. Like you get him on a panel and they ask a question and he's gonna answer the question. And he's gonna answer it in a way that probably some people might not want him to answer, but he's going to be really honest about what it looks like. And I think as a player, you respect that and you kind of understand that. And you can kind of see that he's obviously got an eye for talent. He knows how to work the budget. He understands how to do that. He understands how to bring the right type of player. And he understands what the organization, what it means and the foundation and the history of it. So he's able to now bring that from a management standpoint and search out and seek those kind of players that want to embody that kind of old fashioned and as he put it, Eskimo way.
Yeah, and I heard that comment, and of course, some people didn't like it, but he tells it like it is. That was the last time this team had success, when they went by the Eskimos, right? So going back to that, and he and Chris Morris have kind of echoed those statements and followed through with their plan. You played with both these guys, Chris Morris as well. And you obviously worked with him with the Golden Bears as well, so you saw him as a coach. Should any of this be surprising, the success that they've had and how quickly they've done it?
No. Chris is a tireless worker. He works as hard as anybody I've seen. He's, again, another thoughtful person that understands the history of the EE football team. He understands where it came from when it was great, when it was 50,000 plus coming in at the Calgary rematch game. He's been around for all those times and did a great job of laying down the foundation of U of A in terms of turning that program into one of the better ones in Canada. So it really doesn't surprise me. And one of the things that they focused on was understanding the roots of where they're from, understanding the community, understanding the people that are going to be successful here. And you kind of see that Edmonton's a very unique place in the fact that I won't say you have to be from Edmonton, but you have to be from Edmonton or be closely related to Edmonton. It is a unique place in the fact that it loves its own. It rallies around people that are closely tied to it. And if you're not from here and haven't been here for a while, it does take a long time to build connections, to make to make collaboration and opportunities around that. But if you are, they'll do anything for you, and you can kind of see that. they've kind of brought, I wouldn't even say the Eskimo way, I would say more the Edmonton way of doing things. And they have, they know a ton of people, and they've been able to kind of, I won't say right the ship yet, but be able to steer in a very good direction.
You're totally right there. And I mean, the way it all started with Chris Preston back in the day, there was reports he wasn't even living in the city as the CEO and president of the team. So good point. We'll take a quick break here, Rick. When we come back, I want to get into the receiver position a little more specific, the receiver room that they have right now, and talk about some of your old teammates, if that's all right.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta.
Or big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregate. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair. and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to RobertsonBodyWorks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Singing radio.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world, plus variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
327. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Head over to PlayAlberta.ca. Check out the sports section, the Gregor Show specials. Some good ones today. Go check them out. Remember to use your game sense as we are looking around the CFL and talking some Elks with Rick Walters, longtime member of the Eskimos. Won a Grey Cup here with the team as well. Played in Calgary and Saskatchewan before that. And Rick, appreciate you hanging around here for a little bit. I wanted to dive into the receiving room for the Edmonton Elks because I think we've seen some pretty good things from this group. When Austin Mack was allowed his release from the Alouettes, it was quick. He joined the Edmonton Elks, reuniting with Cody Fajardo. But I want to ask you about TJ Luther. He's a guy I've been very interested in, and I've said it before. A receiver wearing 88 was outstanding for me to see. Love seeing the receivers in the 80s. This season, 3 touchdowns, just under 500 yards on 38 receptions. But he's really seemed like a guy who's fearless going across the middle, willing to take the bumps. I want to ask you probably saw it quite a bit. What were the biggest obstacles for receivers coming from the American game, coming to play in Canada, and then especially throwing them in the slot?
Yeah, no, good question. I think he's played well as well. He does a really good job. He's kind of been fearless going across the middle. He's not ducking or shying away from contact. I would say the biggest things that from a challenge standpoint, when you come from the States, it's usually the play clock. And it goes by quick. You see people, there's just lots of plays that happen in a CFL game. And so lots of times, especially the way they've changed the clock this year as well, to the 30-second clock. And so plays are coming. So you do have to make sure that cardio wise that you're able to, because lots of guys come up and they would run like a 4-4, 4-5, but they'd only run that 4-4, 4-5 the first 5 plays. And then, the rest of the other 75, 80 plays, it's like a 5-2 or something like that. So I would say from a cardio perspective, that's the first thing that kind of gets you. Then it's the waggle. A lot of guys don't use it to its full advantage. And so once they get used to it, you see how much they love it. The motion of the game is always a little bit unique, and you got to kind of figure out what you can do and with the unlimited motion and what you can't do. And lots of guys like to stay, if they're on the line of scrimmage, they want to stay stationary and get somebody in front of them. But you realize quickly that with the ability to move or change your landmarks or your kind of your set point right before the snap, that you can out leverage somebody right away and provide them with no opportunity defensively to be able to get hands on. And so once you get the use of the waggle and the motion part, once you understand that, then you become a much better player at this level. So I think from a cardio wise and and the motion wise and just the width of the field and what you can do or not. And when you're playing, the American game, you're taught to get up north south right away. There is no going east and west. Whereas in Canada, you can always go a little bit. You can take some dips sometimes and get a little bit east and west before you go north and south. But he's done a really, really good job. I know people want to call him a number 2. I'm not sure if he's the number 2. I think there's a collection, because I think if you were to tell the truth, Mac is really the number 2. He's the number 1 receiver, but he's the number 2 target behind Rankin. So everybody else is the number 2. You just got to make sure you keep getting Rankin the ball in a whole bunch of different ways. He's the undisputed number 1. But I think Luther's done a really good job. Done a really, really good job making his case to be a certifiable good player in this league.
Rick, can you go a little deeper into just talking about the waggle and, what it looks like when you use it to your advantage versus someone who might struggle to do so?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, again, there's a lot of guys, especially when they come up here, like to be stationary on the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of what they've grown up, especially if you're from the States or wideouts. You're just stationary. You kind of stand there. You move every once in a while, but it's a set motion. With the use of the waggle and the unlimited motion, there's kind of two kind of pieces where that comes. If you're stationary on the line of scrimmage, you can always go east and west and move up and down the line of scrimmage. So if somebody tries to come press you or be, a yard from you, you can move just before the snap, or you can walk up and down the line of scrimmage, depending on what the route's calling for. You can get a quick release just before the snap. And if you're running, say, an out route or something like that, you can get leverage and get on his outside, or stack them depending on what you want to do. Whereas in the States, it's so limited in terms of what that looks like from a U receiver, you standing in front of somebody, because there could be other motion going on, and you can't have two guys moving at the same time. Down in the States, where in Canada, you can have everybody moving at the same time. So it does create a little bit of a challenge, obviously defensively. And then obviously in the slot, you have a waggle where you're coming at guys take 5-10 yards, run at the line of scrimmage, and you can hit it. And you see it. Then lots of times they press it. Way back in the day, Ray Elgard was probably the best at it. But there's lots of guys now that, Sneed in Montreal does a really good job. Philpott does a good job of using that invisible line that's called the line of scrimmage and kind of being a yard to 2 yards actually past the line of scrimmage, but it's all happening as the ball is being snapped. And so you rarely get a call on it, and they take it, they use it to their advantage. And now not only do you got a flying start, but you can move people pre-snap with just getting to the inside shade, getting to the outside shade, just depending on where your route. If you're running more of an in-breaking route, then you can attack him to his inside shade and get leverage right away. So you're always going to be inside of them. And so great receivers, they understand really, really quickly. You don't have to be necessarily a 4-4 guy, especially with that flying start. Is if you're a good tactician, route runner, now you can get leverage whichever way you want and kind of, play them a little bit like a fiddle, I guess, the defenders.
Rick, you obviously won the Grey Cup with the team back in 2003. And like I said, that's right when I was starting to get into it. And that receiving room that you guys had, Ed Hervey on the outside, you got yourself, Jason Tucker, and Terry Vaughn, one of my favorite players of all time, a guy who could, I think, utilize the waggle pretty well. And then after the catch was always making plays. What did each of you guys, what made that group so special with your individual skill sets?
I think everybody was very selfless in their approach to what it was. Like everybody really they were there and had played different places, and they really just wanted to collectively win games. Terry was that. He was a tailback when he was in Terry Vaughn. He was a tailback when he was in high school, college, and after he caught the ball, he was just like a tailback in the open field. And so we tried to get Terry the ball in all kinds of different ways. And when he wasn't sleeping in meetings, he actually knew where he was going. And he was a dynamic player. And hence why he's, in a couple different Hall of Fames and in the CFL Hall of Fame, just a guy that we were trying to get the ball to all kinds of different ways. Ed was kind of the speed guy. He could take the top off. And what the thing that you could see that we started to do, especially when we got Ricky, is they started to stretch the field not only north and south, but we stretched it east and west. So him running across the field from sideline to sideline was almost more dramatic on defenses than him going north and south, but just because it made them have to be very, very good in terms of what it had to stretch them all out. So you have to be good in terms of your landmarks. Because if he got outside, then he would score. He would always score. Jason Tucker was king of the corner route. He just kept his speed. He understood waggles. And what he did really, really well was keep his speed in and out of routes. And so there's lots of guys, a little bit like when you're looking at Brian Kelly and stuff like that. Brian Kelly wasn't the fastest guy, but he would get out of his route as quick as he got in. And Tuck was a lot like that, where he'd come in at a certain speed and he'd get out at that speed. There was no up or down in terms of what he ran. And so, and had great hands. The guy that sometimes gets overlooked because he wasn't part of that team, his name was Kes McCorvey. He was kind of right at the start of when we were coming in, and Kes probably was the most dynamic route runner of anybody. He had played a few years in the NFL, and he came up and he was unbelievable in terms of route running ability, hands, in and out of breaks, as violent as you could see at the top of routes. And you see some of the guys kind of like that now, and you can see some of that in some of the newer guys that are playing now. And it's kind of neat to see how Ed has kind of brought that kind of receiver, a lot of similarities between when we were playing and some of the guys that are playing now. So it's kind of cool to see some of the trademarks that they're bringing to the game now.
I just kind of got on a bit of a scrolling spree here on the Wikipedia page for that 2003 team. Mike Pringle, Troy Mills in the backfield. The offensive weapons, you guys, like you could have fielded two field teams essentially with Ricky Ray and Jason Moss. Then on the defensive side, like some absolute studs. Did practice ever get a little too intense with the guys you had out there going head to head?
It always got too intense for sure. And that is one of the things that when you asked about the surprises of this year's team, I would say the biggest part is the biggest surprise. I'm an offensive guy, so I always go offense first, but it's just the play of the defense. Mm-hmm. I think JC Sherritt's done an amazing job in terms of handling the defense this year. I saw a stat the other day that they were either the number 1 or number 2 defense in terms of points per game in the league, and they've done a great job. They're getting after the quarterback. The secondaries holding down, deeper concepts and stuff like that. So I would say that's one of the big things is that they're getting the ball back to the offense, and then the offense. If you want a good offense, just have a good defense. And the more times you get the ball, you're going to score. So I think defensively they've done a good job. In terms of when we were playing, it was physical. It was chippy. There was a lot of conversations. There was a lot of trash talk between the two groups. But when you have guys, especially defensive guys, who love to talk, and most defensive guys love to talk, then it becomes an ongoing conversation. So between Mobes and Donnie Brady and Shannon Garrett and the D linemen that we had, it became a little bit of a competition every day just to see who was going to outdo who that day. And it obviously that made us a better all-around team because every day was a competition and everybody was trying to get the best of the other side.
Yeah, some intense individuals. I mean, I'll never forget Mike Pringle running out of the tunnel on the Grey Cup. They didn't have the censor button ready for that. And he was dropping some F-bombs on the way up. I mean, Alfred Payton on the other side was fantastic too. That was a loaded team. Before we get to our next break here, as Rick Walters joins us here on the Jason Gregor Show, former Edmonton Eskimo, a longtime coach. I just want to ask you, because you talked about JC Sherritt, and I know when the new regime came in here, they talked about being patient and allowing these coaches to grow. And we've seen the same, I think, with Aaron Grimes on the back end there as the secondary coach. You've coached for a long time. I mean, how much does it change year 1 to 2 to 3 in terms of obviously just getting that the regime and getting things down pat, but also, learning when to do certain play calls and like, does it slow down from a coach's perspective as well as it does for a player?
Yeah, for sure. Massive. And you've seen massive growth from JC over, even during the duration of coming last year to where he's at now. Probably just his comfort level in terms of being the play caller, understanding schematics. JC's a smart guy, and you could see that the defense has evolved and it's continued to grow. We talked about it earlier. Ed does a good job of getting pieces in place that take advantage of the CFL game and putting them in certain things. And JC's done a really good job of getting those guys to kind of go hunt. I think Carney's made a massive difference in terms of what they're able to do from a front perspective. And now all of a sudden you see everybody else making plays. So their interior guys are making plays, guys on the edges are making plays, and then it makes it easier on guys like Ford and Jackson to be able to do what they do on the back end. And then JC's calling up. There was a couple times in the Saskatchewan game, not this past week, but the week before, where he'd go cover zero. And you could see they were having a little bit of trouble with Trevor Harris at the best of time doesn't like getting hit. Most quarterbacks don't like getting hit. And you can see when people start seeing, as we like to call them, ghosts coming off the edge and start throwing in places where they don't like to throw. And so he just kept bringing it, and he kept bringing that type of defense. And then a little bit like how Noel Thorpe plays defense, how you have 7 up on the line of scrimmage, but then you start dropping different people out and you start dropping linemen out. And JC was doing a lot of that as well. And it's neat to see how he's kind of continued to progress in his maturation as a play caller on the defensive side.
Rick, we'll take one more break here, come back, maybe look around the CFL a little bit and maybe talk some NFL if that's cool.
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. And Rick Walters joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Of course, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley sitting in. We got Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and intern Connor here running the show. When we come back, more with Rick Walters on the Jason Gregor Show.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering, a happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, the Fruit Squad, Morningwood, Rockzilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop. I'll take pitcher. Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel, and there's only one MVP.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero-gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
We were at a party. I was having fun. He wasn't. He grabbed my arm, then yanked me towards
the front door. Was under his watch 24/7. He installed a doorbell camera to control me, to keep me at home. It hurt.
more than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
You've got better things to do than wait for an oil change. Jiffy Lube gets you in and out fast. No appointment necessary. All you have to do is roll into a location near you, and we'll take care of the rest. Every full synthetic oil change at Jiffy Lube is warranty approved and comes with a 20-point visual inspection, making sure you get back on the road safely. Find your neighborhood Jiffy Lube today. Visit jiffylubeservice.ca.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Papa John's. Calling all pizza lovers. At Papa John's, get a large one-topping pizza for only $14.99 using promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here in the Sports 1440 studio as we are looking around the CFL with Rick Walters. This segment brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. And Rick, let's take a look around the CFL right now outside of Edmonton, who of course is going to get the Montreal Alouettes on Saturday, 1:00 start. I'm actually going to be down for the watch party. If anybody wants to come out, text us. We can let you know the exact location. But this Montreal Alouettes team obviously playing out east, not the toughest division right now. But what do you think makes them so good?
Jason Moss, in all honesty. He's done a great job of being able to, have a team that kind of mirrors his image. They made a tough choice. Him and Danny Macochin made a tough choice a few years ago when they had to go away from Cody Fajardo and go to Davis Alexander. And what you've seen has been gold over there. They've Davis Alexander. He's a different bird. He's probably top 1 or 2 quarterbacks in the league, and he can make every throw, especially when healthy. He does a great job of running the ball. He anticipates well. He throws with touch, with accuracy. He competes. So moving. Initially when it was coming out that Cody was gonna have to move on in order to be a starter in this league. I'm sure lots of people were wondering why. But now you can kind of see why, so I think he's what they do well is they have the best, arguably the best quarterback in the league. I think after that, the other piece is Tyson Philpott is kind of stepped into a new role of being the top 1, 2, or 3 receivers in the league, not Canadian receiver in the league, receiver in the league. And it's funny because coming out of university, I would have thought it was really close between him and his brother as to who was going to be the better player. And sometimes, and they're twins, but sometimes it's situation kind of makes you the player you are. And he's done a really, really good job of taking it and running with it and being, arguably like it's, I think you're seeing an amazing wave of young Canadian receivers kind of come through, and guys that are taking the ball and making it really neat to be Canadian and showing all the young kids around Canada that you can play in the CFL, earn a great living, and be kind of rewarded for what that looks like. So they have a fantastic receiving core. With Philpott and Snead does a really good job. Their O-line is probably the best O-line in the league. and you can see that from a running game standpoint, because they do it. They're able to run it with static boxes, like I talked about, 5 wide. Then they do a great job of bringing tight ends, double tight into the fold, and not necessarily running the ball, but play action passing it, protecting their quarterback, and then going over the top for shots. They do a really, really good job of having the receivers running, whether it's over routes or diagonal routes. I like to call them 7-11 because they're always open. So 7-11 routes coming into the hole, and they do a really, really good job of that. And I would say that arguably he's done a really good job over the years, but he's probably been the best DC as well. So like their defense is maybe not as strong as it's been in previous years, but they're still really, really good, and they're going to be a test for the Double E coming this week. But yeah, they're really a complete team, and they do it. And it starts obviously from the top down, from Jason and Danny as their GM there. So it's a tough team, really good team though.
Yeah, crazy. You mentioned Tyson Philpott, the only receiver with over 1,000 yards. The next closest, his teammate Tyler Snead at 794, and doing it in all sorts of ways. Yak 424 yards plus 9 receptions, over 30 yards. So the Elks have to be watching out for that one. He's a big play waiting to happen. Now, if we shift out west here, the Calgary Stampeders, as a team, maybe not having the best season, but Vernon Adams Jr. has been incredible. The 21 touchdowns, no interceptions. That breaks the NFL record. Peyton Manning had the best start to a season without an interception. He had 20 touchdowns, and that included a game where he threw 7 to kick off the season. Last year, and Vernon Adams, we know, has the capabilities, but 14 interceptions with 21 touchdowns. This year, 21 with none. What have you seen in his game that has allowed him to just, obviously take better security with the football?
Just being another year in Dickinson's system, understanding what the quarterbacks, what they expected from that position. He's always been a really, really good athlete, and he's another guy that after he left Montreal, you weren't really sure where his career was going to go, and then going out to BC and doing a really good job there, and he's just kind of flourished now in Calgary. I know it's interesting because people compared Trey to him Ford a lot in hopes that his journey kind of is similar to what Vernon's is, but you could always see glimpses of Vernon being able to do different things. When he scrambles with a purpose, and usually his purpose is to throw the ball downfield, a lot like Davis Alexander. They're not necessarily running to run. They'll run to run because they're athletic enough, but usually when they're moving from the pocket, creeping up in the pocket, or getting out of the B gap, C gaps, then they're looking to throw the ball. And Vernon's doing that, and he's doing it. Obviously, he's been able to target guys well and not put the ball in harm's way. And if you can get a quarterback who's not throwing picks and you're not turning over the ball, you're going to give yourself a chance to win every game.
Rick, if we could, let's just look down south right now, down in the NFL. Big day for Zay Flowers. He gets the AAV deal with $35 million. That puts him right in line with Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in football, just below Drake London, Jamar Chase, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Did that number for the salary surprise you at all for Zay Flowers, who is a good football player? I mean, 2-time Pro Bowl.
No, it surprised the heck out of me, in all honesty. And partly because when you say those names, I don't equate Zay Flowers to that group. The names that you're talking about are the best guys in the NFL. Not that he's not, but I would say that they paid him for the fact that they didn't want him necessarily to leave and to create, they wanted somebody on the outside who could separate and get open. I don't think with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, you're ever going to have a receiver that's truly, gets to what their potential kind of looks like, because he's always going to look towards the tight end. They're always going to have a very strong run game. And again, he'll get Zay Flowers balls, but he'll never, I don't think he'll ever lead the league in receptions and yards and things like that, because Lamar Jackson just does it a different way. He's efficient, he's effective at what he does, but he's not the guy that's going to target your number one receiver 12 times a game, and he's going to end up with 11 receptions. That's not happening.
Being a former receiver, any guys down south you enjoy watching in particular?
Who do I like? That's a good question. I love Justin Jefferson. I think he does a really good job. He competes. He's been a good teammate. They kind of screwed him over a little bit with what they did with Sam Darnold, but and giving him a rookie quarterback to kind of work with during his prime years. But I like him. I like his game. All the LSU guys are great to see and how they come into the league. And I know a lot of people like Chase, and again, a lot of the LSU guys, they do a great job in terms of what receiver you kind of looks like coming out there.
Yeah, for years they've just been developing nonstop NFL receivers. I think going back to like 2004 with Dwayne Bowe and Buster Davis, they've got a good history of doing that. Well, Rick, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. This is going to be a weekly feature with the Jason Gregor Show. We'll have you on every Monday. Hopefully get you in studio as well to recap the weekend in the CFL, and heck, maybe talk some NFL as well.
All right, sounds good. That's awesome. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it.
Have a great rest of your week. There you go. That is Rick Walters, Grey Cup champion, a longtime coach and player. Of course, now in the CFL, a long time with the Golden Bears, and going to be joining us weekly here on the Jason Gregor Show. Got some texts here. HD says Rick is an A-listener guest. Good interview, Cons. He makes it easy. You know what? I think I probably threw out some bad questions, and Rick just caught in around with it like he did in his football career. And he's going to be a huge addition for the Jason Gregor Show going forward. Recapping a lot of things. SJK says, great job having Rick on your show. He has great insight and always learn so much listening to him. He was a great athlete in high school. He used his athletic abilities and smarts to make it in the CFL. Loved watching him play, now sharing his knowledge with the younger players. He's a great person. And please have him back on your show again. Well, we will. Sheldon, every week, Monday here on the Jason Gregor Show. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll shift over, talk some NHL hockey as Dave McCarthy's going to join us. We got the roundtable, 5 questions, spec, Cam Tate, stats of the day, so much more to get to here on the Jason Gregor Show. But right now, Sports 1440 update brought to you by HireGood. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Soriano is reported to the Blue Jays, while Estrada has been optioned to the AAA club in Buffalo. Quarterback Chad Kelly and linebacker Cam Judge will both be available for the Toronto Argonauts when they play the Stamps this weekend. Former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi has been added to the Rough Riders neg list, and wrestling icon Dory Funk Jr. has passed at 85 years of age. Elsewhere in the NFL, Bijan Robinson signing a 3-year, $75 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons. Zay Flowers, a 4-year, $140 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens, $108 million guaranteed. And Darnell Wright signing the richest right tackle deal in NFL history, a 4-year deal worth $116 million to stay with the Chicago Bears, $93 million guaranteed. In the MLB, action will get going in 40-minute time or so with the Angels and the Orioles. A's and Reds, Mets, Guardians, Nats, Phillies, the next game up after that. And then later tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays will be in Houston taking on the Astros. Travis Savage on the mound, and you can hear that one following the conclusion of this show on the AM dial only. I'm Declan Kruger, and this has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day. But you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Oh my God.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.406, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, the Lotto Max, $20 million. And then tomorrow, if you don't win the Lotto Max, you can get the Gold Ball jackpot, $42 million. But potentially even more winnings at playalberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here at the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. You can always reach us 1-833-401-1440 or email me, Connor, at sports1440.ca. Right now, we'll get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto, who's donated more than $27.2 million to local charities. They also take pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca as we bring in Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM NHL. Dave, good afternoon. How you doing today?
Hey, Connor. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, you know, kind of dog days of summer, like trying to research some things to talk about. Really not a whole lot going on, but we'll get the job done. How are you doing? How's the shows been for you?
The shows? Oh, I haven't done a show since July the 5th, I
You
think.
get the summer off?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
when something happens, I'll do something. But yeah, I think I'm going to do some shows like, when are we here? I'm counting here. 1, 2, 3. Like a month from now, I might start doing shows again.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
all right. Maybe
Well,
a little bit too much time, but anyway.
You know what? No, I don't think so. You're so busy during the season. This is when you should be having some fun, taking it easy, relaxing as much as possible. I want to go division by division with you here and look ahead and get some predictions for what's going to happen next season. And we'll start off in the Pacific because it's the oil report. We got to talk a little bit of the Edmonton Oilers, but hey, you got the Vegas Golden Knights who won a great run last season, the Anaheim Ducks who really paid one of their stars. There's some other teams, you know, we'll have to wait and see what they do. I'm looking at the San Jose Sharks. But if you had to pick right now in the Pacific Division 1 through 3, how do you think it's going to look? Or go 3 through 1 if you want to be more dramatic.
Yeah, I think Edmonton's going to have a good year. I really do. I have been around the Oilers a little bit this summer. McDavid, Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. I sense a real appetite with those guys to really heed the message that Mike Babcock is going to deliver. Because I do think they recognize the fact that they're coming to the point where it's either get it done or this group of the Oilers, as we've come to think of them, will dissolve to an extent. And so there's been a lot of back and forth about the hiring of Mike Babcock. I'll say it again. It may not be popular. I'll say it. I think he is the perfect coach for this team. When Connor McDavid said last week at Zach's golf tournament that we've got a coach now who's not going to have to find himself in situations, I thought that was really telling. Really telling. It may not be right what Mike decides to do, but there will be no, I guess, lack of assuredness as to what to do in a particular situation. And I think that's what Connor is looking for. Tell us what to do, and we'll try to execute it. But don't have an inability to get to the message, and then we go out there, and now we have no idea what we're trying to do based on. And so I thought that was really telling. So I think there's going to be a buy-in, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think the Oilers are way better than we saw last year. So I think they're going to be good. I really do this year. So I'm going to go Edmonton 1. I'm going to go Vegas 2. I guess I'm going to go Anaheim 3, but not by a lot. I think San Jose is going to be right there. And I could see San Jose jumping Anaheim because I have to tell you, Connor, I do not love what they've done to their back end. Losing Jacob Trouba, losing Radko Gudas, losing Owen Zellweger. I don't think they've done that good of a job, to be honest with you. I think they've got big problems there. So I could see them vulnerable to the San Jose Sharks for the third spot. LA might be in the mix. Everybody else in that division is no good.
All right, I'm going to write that down. Edmonton, Vegas, and then Anaheim, San Jose. If we shift out to the Central Division here, there's the 3 big dogs. There's some teams pushing, but going to next season, assuming everything stays good, everyone's healthy, who's 3 through 1 in the Central?
Yeah, that's like, it's always tough at this time of the year to sit and look and say, here's because a lot of times you look and say, well, I can't really see any of the guys, the teams that got in this year dropping out, right? Like Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota. Like, did any of them get demonstrably worse? I don't think so, right? But that being said, I really like Utah. I really think they're coming along. And they've been building well, and they've made some savvy additions in the offseason. And I think they could surprise some people if surprise is the right word. They've got a really good collection of young talent. They augmented that by bringing in Anders Lee to give them a little bit more depth. You don't put as much pressure on a guy like Barrett Hayden. If Hayden is great, he can move up the lineup. Anders Lee can move down the lineup. If not, Lee can probably play up the line. I mean, you're in pretty good shape. I like their back end a lot as well as certainly their top four. I don't know so much about their bottom pair right now, but we'll see. But Mikhail Sergachev, Uyghur, Schmidt, Marino, that's a really good top four. That's a pretty good top four. And their goaltending has been, very reliable with Karl Vejmelka last year, and Sebastian Cossa is a guy that has a great deal of pedigree. So I like Utah a lot. I really do. The question is, who are they taking out? And I think Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota are each going to be really good again. I don't love really anybody else in that division. Nashville, St. Louis, Winnipeg, Chicago. I don't really think any of those teams got much better. So, not to sit on the fence, but I'll go Colorado 1, I'll go Minnesota 2 this time, and Dallas 3.
We're putting Utah, maybe a wild card team.
Right there, yeah.
Fair.
I think so. Because I do think that I like Utah, Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim, San Jose from the Pacific Division. I think Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Utah is what I like from the Central Division. I don't see any of the other 4 teams in either division jumping one of the other ones to go 5 and 3 type thing.
We're looking around the NHL with Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM NHL here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. So if we go to the Eastern Conference, we'll start in the Metro. You've got the defending Stanley Cup champion. The Penguins and the Flyers round out the top 3 last year, but the Capitals kind of revamping their lineup here, bringing some nice additions. What do you see the Metro looking like?
Yeah, look, so Metro to me is pretty easy, the top 2. Well, I'll put it back to you. What's your top 2? And we'll see if it agrees with me before I prejudice the question here.
I'm going Carolina. Gotta give them the respect, and then I'm going Capitals.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. I was standing with Tom Wilson, speaking with the man, when the news came down that they had acquired Alex Tuck. And if you think of Alice in Wonderland, you'll think of the Cheshire Cat in that movie. That was Tom Wilson. He was really excited to hear that news. We'll put it that way. And then Ovi came back, and they've made some really, really good additions. Boone Jenner into the mix as well. So I think they've really loaded up in Washington. One, to attract Alexander Ovechkin's interest in returning for another season, but 2, also beyond the career of Alexander Ovechkin, because I think by bringing in Boone Jenner, by bringing in Alex Tuck, you have insulated yourself for life, and Jordan Kyrou as well, let's not forget, for life beyond Alexander Ovechkin. So I think right now this is a bonus year for Washington, because now you've really got the ability to use Ovi selectively, put him in positions to succeed. Use him on the power play where he can stay at the top of the circle with his stick in the rafters, not have to move. He doesn't move that great anymore, let's be honest, but he still shoot the puck. So use him there. Use him selectively at even strength in offensive zone situations. So I think you got a real bonus here. And then beyond this year, I think they've really positioned their team quite nicely. I like their back end quite a bit. I think Cole Hudson is going to be a real breakout candidate. And then they're going to get my buddy Rasmus Sandin back around about Christmas time. So that'll be like a trade. I love everything about Washington. I really do. So those are my top two in the Metro for sure. After that, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't really love a lot. Pittsburgh, I think everything hit last year. I don't know if it hits again this year. And I don't think they got better on paper in the offseason than what they were last year. Anthony Mantha had a really good year. He's out the door. Philadelphia, they went legend in the final 20 games and made the playoffs. I mean, you better start better next year. Otherwise, that's not going to work again. The Devils, like, honestly, I think they're a pretty good team, but Jack Hughes can never stay healthy. And if he can't, they're in big trouble. So I guess what I'd say is Carolina, Washington. I'll go Devils, Islanders, and Columbus is right there. And I don't love Philadelphia.
Just one thing on the Capitals. We had Sammy Silver join us on the show last week, and we were just talking about this team as like, you know, whatever you want to call them, basketball team. They have 4 players under 6 foot, and they're all 5'11".
Dude, they're gigantic human beings. I saw Boone Jenner a fortnight ago at a golf tournament. No, sorry, I lied. I saw him. That's true. I did see him, but I said this to him when he was on the brunch to conclude the season. I said, "You're a big dude. You're like 6'1", 195. What does it feel like to be the 13th biggest dude on the team?" And he's like, "For real, right?" Like, they are a massive, massive, massive group. And Boone is a big guy as well, but you wouldn't know it based on the order of big to little guys. But I guess their little guys are still big guys. That is going to be an unpleasant team to play against if they decide to use their size to their advantage.
Oh, it's crazy. And Alexi Protas, like what he can do at that size and still put the puck in the back of the net. He might be one of my favorite players to watch. Let's wrap it up.
And he can skate too. He can fly.
Yeah. He's not getting left in the dust by any means.
No.
The Atlantic Division may be one of the most interesting because you got the Florida Panthers, who I think are going to be back where they're destined to be. The Maple Leafs should be better. I got the Red Wings falling off here, but you've got the Sabres, Lightning, Canadians. All of those teams wrapped up their season very well. This is going to be a heck of a division. How do you think the top 3 look here?
Yeah, so I said to Paul Maurice when they were in town, I don't know, with 5 or 8 games left in the regular season was done. I said, in my opinion, if you guys do nothing this offseason but get healthy, I see you right back to where you were the season prior. Do you agree with that? Again, the Cheshire Cat comes to mind. Big smile. He said, I do. He's like, but we're not going to do anything either. And they did things. And brought in Brady Tkachuk. Now, look, I think Brady's a good player. I think at times he gets a little overrated. I really do. I think he's an outstanding complementary piece. I really do. When you've got a bunch of guys around him that are also really good players. I don't think he's got the will, but I don't think he's got the skill to be the guy on his own, if that makes sense. But when he can be your second line left winger and you've got 2 really solid lines and an unreal third line, you are going to love Brady Tkachuk every minute of the day, and I think they will love him in Florida. So they've got healthy, they've done things. I think they will be right back to where they were. So I see Florida getting back in. So if they get in, who comes out? Boston. I don't see them sticking around this year. Do we see the Sabres, the Lightning, the Canadiens sticking? I think Montreal's in again. I think Buffalo's figured it out. Tampa should be good, but you always wonder with them, right? At what point do they just not have a great year? And, maybe a few guys get a little banged up, a little hurt, whatever it might be. Could that be an issue? So I think they're probably in, but I like what Toronto's done. I really do. I think they've improved their team dramatically since their last regular season game. But I know you've constrained me here, so I'm going to go Florida. I'm going to go Montreal. I'm going to go Buffalo. I'm going to go Tampa. I think Toronto's right there in 5th. And I could see maybe 5 teams out of the Atlantic Division.
They did it last year. Could do it again. So we will see. And yeah, I mean, I think in the Metro, you could definitely see that happen with a couple teams dropping off and just getting those 3 teams in. Dave, great stuff. We got through another segment.
Yeah, even when there's nothing to talk about, we find something to talk about. Connor, we are basically Jerry Seinfeld right now. We're the show about nothing.
Yeah, we found that topic. We rolled through it. All right, Dave, enjoy the last few days of your summer. I know you'll be back at it sooner or later. You going out to any Jays games? Do anything like that? Golfing?
Golfing, yes. Jays games, good God, no.
Yeah, it's probably a good pick. Golf is going to be a lot more enjoyable. We'll let you go, and we'll chat with you tomorrow. Thanks for hopping on a little later here.
Okay, buddy. See you.
There you go. Dave McCarthy of Sirius XM NHL joins us every week here on the Jason Gregor Show to take a look around the NHL. And those are the picks. He likes Edmonton first in the Pacific, then Vegas, then maybe toss up between Anaheim and San Jose. In the Central, he's going Colorado, Minnesota, Dallas. Kind of likes Utah, the wild card. In the Metro, Carolina, Washington. Then there's a few teams you could see at third. Jersey, Islanders, Columbus. And in the Atlantic, I think we're rolling with 5 playoff teams once again. Florida, Buffalo, Montreal, Tampa, and Toronto. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to the round table. Then we've got 5 questions, spec, Cam Tate, and the stats of the day. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At GS Construction, people grow with the company. 50 years of experience doesn't live in a binder on a shelf. It lives in our people at every level, passed down on every site. Many of us started with a shovel in our hands and built whole careers here. The work is honest. The company's been around since 1974. So if it all sounds good to you and you want to grow with us, GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and topmen. No shovel required. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Oodle Noodle origin.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Life doesn't always line up with Election Day. If you'll be away, busy, or just want to skip the line, you can vote by mail with a special ballot. No reason is required. Simply request your special ballot online, by phone, or from your local returning office. Just remember, completed ballots must be mailed to Elections Alberta and received by 5 p.m. on October 16th. So why wait? Find everything you need to get started at specialballot.elections.ab.ca. Be referendum ready. A message from Elections Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Ewell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pod lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.40 and YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, the Lotto Max $20 million. Tomorrow, Gold Ball Jackpot, $42 million. You can also go to the sports section. Check out the Jason Gregor Show special. We got some boosted odds for you. Check it out. Remember, use your game sense. Right now, we had to do a little bit of a switch. Usually, we do the roundtable at 4. We had to get Dave McCarthy in there. So we're going to do the roundtable now, where Declan and Mackenzie are going to throw out some stories, some things you might want to debate or just bring up. I don't know which of you guys wants to go first. Any volunteers? Sounds like Mackenzie is being volunteered.
Oh, okay. All right, let me take my headphones off. So my roundtable for today is that Liv accomplished their mission, even though it never became the biggest tour. They've forced the PGA to adjust how they approach things, as in like pay structure, how invitationals and events are actually executed. And although Liv isn't dead yet, it seems like it's very impending that Liv Golf will no longer be a thing.
What do you think, Deck?
I mean, it's tough to argue. It was... Now, are we going to say it was a failed from the start business model? I don't know if we can really say that, because it seemed to have some success for some time being, and it got a lot of people paid. But similar to what Max said, it seems to have really run its course. I kind of like the idea of there at least being another option in some capacity. Now, golf is a sport where it's a little bit more like secular, like you don't really ask for that the same way you do like European soccer. But no, I think she said it well. I think it's probably its time has come. It did its job, if you even want to say it did that. and its time has passed. And that's that.
I do think they effectively did a really good job, actually. Like, he got players a little bit more compensated. I think the PGA had to look at itself. And there was what's that show, Full Swing, when they were following Rory around, and he was talking to players like, guys, we can't just show up to the majors. Like, you gotta be out at these events. That's what people want. They want to see the big names at these events. And if half the roster is just like, yeah, we're not going, then I think that's not a good business model. And that changed things. It got the players out. When they went over there, John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, Cameron Smith, Mickelson, Garcia, Joaquin Niemann, like, they took some big star power, and like, the PGA loyalists hated it, right? But long term, maybe it does help the PGA like reevaluate things. And if you're not kind of pushed out of your comfort zone, or maybe forced to do something, you never will. And it kind of served its purpose. So I would agree with you, Mackenzie. I think that's a good point. I think that it was a evil, but a necessary evil to push the PGA even further. Declan, what do you got?
That boy Zay Flowers has done nothing to deserve $140 million with $108 million guaranteed. Now, I get that he's in kind of a funny situation because, like, Lamar Jackson has to throw to somebody. And Connor Spivak, the intern, he went over the top 5 receivers all time in Ravens history. I believe Zay Flowers is already number 5. Like, he has been, how many seasons he's been on the team? 3. So young franchise, I get all that. But the fact that he's already there, not really being that good. And I know the last 2 seasons have been okay, 1,000-yard seasons. You made the point he's never had more than 5 touchdowns in a single year. I get that some of this is dictated by the fact that Lamar Jackson needs just a guy to throw to. But $140 million to a guy with his track record, and it's not like he's bad. But when you're putting him in the conversations monetarily, like with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and guys who have reached some real unprecedented heights early on in their career, and then it's just him, like, that's not just a polar bear in Texas. That's a polar bear, a seal, a walrus, a penguin, all the Arctic animals hanging out in Texas, because he is nowhere near that class of player. Credit to him for getting paid, but I just think, like, that is a guy who is going to have to do a lot over these next 4 years to show he is worth it in this contract, with this contract. And he might do it, but I'm not sure that he will. I hope he does.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not rooting against him, but I'm just saying, like, I think we can all agree this is we scratched our heads a little bit at this. This one had Bill Simmons tweeting about the Baltimore Ravens.
That's true. So the way I look at it is teams can't let wide receivers get to free agency right now, because the ones that are decent to actually good are so few and far between that when you have one, you kind of have to lock them up and have to pay that superstar rate even when they aren't a superstar. So I think that they paid for like the market value rather than the production. Am I taking Zay Flowers on my fantasy team? No, because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So 3 times, I'm not going to get fooled again.
I'll probably take him for like the 4th or 5th year in a row.
I mean, this guy's paid like a top 5 receiver. He's an interesting situation, though, because, he's still in the final year of his rookie contract. Then he's got the player option. Then this kicks in. So he's there till he's 2031. That's essentially a lifetime Raven. He's not really going anywhere. You look at the production, that the touchdowns are the one that kind of worries me for that amount of money. You give him Justin Jefferson money. I want Justin Jefferson production. And I know last year he had 2 touchdowns. Quarterback play played a big factor in that one. But I think I am, for the most part, with you, Deck. Now, if they believe that they got a guy and down the road that he's going to turn into someone else, I mean, he was, in terms of receivers, 6th in the league in receiving yards on 86 receptions. Didn't get the targets that any of these other guys did. He had 118 targets. Jackson Smith-Njigba had 163. Puka Nacua, 166. Jamar Chase, 185. Amon St. Brown, 172. They demand that, though, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's quite put himself in that category.
They got more targets because they're better than him and they get open more.
So, but maybe we keep feeding the guy and he starts producing. Like, he's not a bad player. He's a very good player, but that's elite wide receiver money. I guess what I'm trying to say, in 4 years, how does that contract look? Does, Nico Collins get paid? Does Jameson Williams get paid? Does George Pickens get paid? And all of a sudden, his contract right now that is quite high it's kind of more middle of the pack. Maybe they're just getting ahead of it. But there's no denying. I don't think anybody saw that contract come down and like, good deal. Like the number was just kind of blew everyone away. And I think you're right, Declan. I think you're right.
And like he's not as bad as I might have made it out to be with that monologue. Like he's a good player, fine player, but he's just now in rarefied air with this contract. And that's the part that's a little Tweety Bird cuckoo.
Threw me off. I mean, when we saw it drop, also to clarify, I guess the AAV for Bijan Robinson's like 22 mil. It's 3 years, 75 mil. I don't know how it works out, but per season, it's just a little bit more. So, you know, if you're Jahmyr Gibbs, you probably get 23 mil per season and you're pretty happy. But yeah, it's good money. Good time to be a football player if you can get it. And now the next wave, when they come, certainly going to be cashing in and they can thank Zay Flowers. Do you know his agent by any chance?
Not off the top of my head. Who is it?
I don't know. I if it's like Mughaleta,
it's probably Rosen.
It's Win Sports. Zach Hiller. Okay, not one of the big ones because I always thought, you know, Rosenhaus or David Mughaleta.
I'm seeing Patrick Whitesell. Who'd you say?
Oh yeah, you're right. He's the founder of Win Sports Group. So there you go. They did it. Zach Hiller was his previous management, but he left them last May. Probably no one could cash in on this deal. It's an interesting one. And that the list of Ravens receivers that you guys talked about, Mark Andrews is the career leader in receptions. He'll be there in yards, touchdowns. Zay Flowers won't catch Ray Rice in receptions this year because he'd need like 130. But he's ahead of him already in yards. And it's kind of a new franchise, Dak, but kind of not. They've been around since 99. Even earlier than that, I think. They got to figure it out. We'll take a break. When we come back, 5 questions. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Old laborer, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackhoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Your weekend hotspot is at On the Rocks.
Party with Edmonton's best bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And we got them all.
From the Varkels to Tallboy, Radioactive, Curves, The Brute Squad, Morningwood, Roxilla, Punch Buggy, and more.
Plus, the guy who keeps the party going every weekend. DJ Kenny K on the ones and twos, live.
Get ready to have a good time this weekend.
Your bar, your party. You're On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us, The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Everything is going to be okay. Any business, regardless of size, can stumble occasionally. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. If your business is facing financial challenges, our team of chartered insolvency and restructuring professionals have corporate debt recovery solutions that work. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. Chances of a positive outcome increase if you engage Faber sooner rather than later.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, "Wow, great hair transplant." I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
To the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan. We got intern Connor here as well, rolling through this Tuesday afternoon as you're making your drive home. Hopefully the weather is nice out there for you. Just a couple of news and notes today from the Edmonton Elks as they are back at practice, getting ready for their Week 10 matchup in Montreal. Nick Anderson, good news. Practice today, full with a hamstring injury. David Beard, offensive lineman, limited. Jared Brinkman was limited with the quad injury. Noah Curtis, limited. Joel DeBlanco did not practice with the hamstring. Kenny Logan, who we talked about, was kind of working it on the sidelines, trying to get back in there. He was limited with the knee injury. And Jacob Pomanda, who missed last game, he's got the shoulder issue. He practiced in full. So some good news and some bad news there for the Elks. Keep that monitored. The good news is they don't play till Saturday. So we'll see how it progresses this week. Right now, we're going to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. And we'll see. I was at The Brick over the weekend. We're taking a look at the Shakopedic couches. They are luxury. Just got to make sure it fits in our room. And then we'll probably be heading back. But of course, The Brick is your best choice for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and TVs. Shop online or in store for great deals and great quality prices. Only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. What was your biggest takeaway from the game, or maybe the biggest reason for the Elks' loss this weekend?
You know what? I mean, I feel like it's the same problems, Jeff, and just continuing to persist here, and it's that red zone offense. And heck, my kicker is going 4 for 4. That's good news. That's never a bad thing. But we need at some point to take the 6 points rather than the 3 and let them come out and hit that extra point. There is, a few plays here and there that I think probably could have turned things around a little bit. Penalties, injuries, that sort of thing. The rain delay kind of sucked. But overall, I think that if they can just find a way to improve that red zone offense, that's going to go a long way for this team. But takeaway, they're right there. The Riders are a good team. We've talked about it. They were hanging around right till the end. And just a little too late. But overall, not a bad performance. What do you got, Deck?
It's like penalties, I would say, would be the biggest reason. Like 10 for 92 yards, you probably can't climb out of that hole against a team like Saskatchewan the way you might be able to against a team like Ottawa or, BC. I know BC beat you, so maybe that's not the best example. But it also was one of those games where, like, you lost to a really good team by 2 points. You just beat them in their barn. They came in, beat you in your barn. If it's not from Malik Carney's penalty there, maybe you get the ball back with 45 seconds left, whatever it is, and a chance to win the game. I don't for me, and this will come up a little bit later on, like, it didn't shift the landscape of the league too much. It's just, you're not going to go 17-1. You're not going to go 18-0. Only 2 teams have ever gone 16-2. You're probably going to lose some games. You happen to lose this game. I don't think there was anything glaring outside of the penalties. And you do make a very good point about the red zone offense, but it wasn't like we had seen last season and years before that. You could point to 10 different things about why the Elks lost a game. It's not really like that this time. They did just happen to lose, unfortunately. So
yeah. And you could say, like, hey, the Riders, they could have scored on that last drive too, right? They could have blown it open. So the two-point lead might be a little misleading, but shout out the odds makers deck. We talked about it. I was 1.5 the other way. Shifted to 2 points for the Riders, and they win by 2. How do they do it?
I think it shifted to 2.5 too. So,
was it 2.5?
Yeah,
okay.
So plus 2.5 would have covered. Just crazy how they do it. Question number 2: who was your NHL comparable for Zay Flowers?
Okay. So it's got to be a good player that maybe got paid a little bit too much, but could be functional on their team. Okay. I've been thinking about this one for a little while here. Bowen Byram.
Oh, Matt, that was going to be mine as well.
Great minds, man. They have the money to spend. They want to give it to someone who they assume at least will fit their system and be a good player for them. Zay Flowers is a good player for the Ravens. I think Bowen Byram can be a good player for the Blackhawks. But when you look at it, compared to that money around the league, it just seems it's a little bit high. So that we have the same one, hey?
Yeah, the only reason I was thinking not to go with Bowen Byram is because he obviously switched teams.
Yeah.
And Zay Flowers is in a situation where, like, they very much paid him because they wanted to keep him because he was someone. And in that sense, it's a little bit almost like Leo Carlson, except Leo Carlson's like that number's way up there and offer sheet and balls. So it's a little bit, but Bowen Byram was the first name that came to mind for me. Question number 3, should the MLB go to a lockout?
Yeah, I mean, they got some issues to figure out. I don't want them to do it. I've said on record, I do think there is going to be a delay to the season. And anytime, millionaires arguing with billionaires, it's going to get stretched out. We've seen it in the NHL. And they've got such a long season. Like, they can afford to lose some time. The NFL, you miss a month, that's a quarter of the season. Major League Baseball could lose a few, and I wouldn't even hate it, to be totally honest with you. So I think there's things they need to figure out. I think they need a hard cap. So teams can't just throw money in free agency and, make your manager do a little bit of work, but you also need that floor. So I do think so. I think Major League Baseball does need a bit of a change, things they need to do. It sucks, but yes, I think they do need, unless they can get it done without it happening, but I think that's impossible. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. But my thing with, I talked about it a little bit today on the lowdown. Anyone could have traded for Scooble.
Yep.
Totally. And they didn't give up that much from what I understand. Now, is this a little bit the rest of the owners getting together and being like, now this is the catalyst for going to a lockout? I don't know. They probably should go. I think they need a salary cap, a salary floor. I think they need something in place. I read something really, really interesting about the Dodgers regional TV deal. I'm not going to begin to repeat it or try and explain it, but it's something that it's so different from the rest of the league, and it's one of the reasons they can spend so much money. It's a really cool read if you come across it.
Yeah, well, and that I just want to reiterate what you said. You didn't go get Scooble, and you're mad. If you're in the National League, well, you should have gone out and got him. If you want to get mad about Tucker, Diaz, maybe Shohei and how they defer the money down the line, that's one thing. But this most recent case, I don't think you can get mad about it. And at the same time, all these guys are billionaires. They could all spend money, but they choose not to. And the Dodgers, I think, deserve a little bit of credit because they've built something pretty special where guys want to go there. The Mets spend money. They don't win. The Jays aren't cheap either. Outside of last year, they've had a hard time finding ways to win. They built something up pretty good there with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Don't hate the player, hate the game. The game being Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I guess the one thing that I that like the biggest reason for me and why I'm in favor of it going to a lockout is like these owners who don't spend the money to make their teams better. It's like, well, they could, but they don't. Like really the trickle down of that is they hurt the fans because the owner's mindset is, hey, these guys are going to keep coming. Who cares if I put a piss poor product out there? They're going to keep paying my tickets and funding my 7th vacation home. And I don't think that's fair to the fans who are, investing in these teams and get nothing in return year after year because the owner doesn't want to spend money. So for that reason, I'm in favor of a lockout. But yeah, you make a good point about what the Dodgers have built. Question number 4, following the Elks loss to the Riders, did the CFL power ranking shift at all for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think they would have, because after the Elks won, I probably would have had them ahead of Saskatchewan. So you win, you beat them. I think they flip-flop. I don't think anything else really changes. I'd still have the Owls right up there as well, but I would swap the Riders and the Elks after that result.
See, it doesn't change anything for me. Like, they're 1-1 in the last 2 games. Like, if they had just played this game the week before and Edmonton won the way they did in Saskatchewan, would you then have Edmonton ahead of them?
Well, the win does make a difference.
The win does make a difference?
I think so. Like for me.
But like they also just beat them the week before that.
Yeah, but the power rankings change week to week, right? So for this week, I'm going to have Saskatchewan on top of them. So what are your top 3? Like I would say mine would be probably Montreal, Saskatchewan, Edmonton.
In that order?
Yeah.
I have, first of all, that is there has not been a clearer top 3 in my lifetime than those 3 right now, I don't think. But I still have Edmonton 1, Montreal 2, Saskatchewan 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was really impressive what the Riders did.
They're a great team. Like, I'm not going to knock them. They're a great team. They got some problems, but very good team. And to do it as banged up as they were.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? Like, and hey, we said it, the odds makers saw this one coming, but yeah, for me, I would be flipping them down just for the game, but that can change very quickly. Heck, if the Elks beat the Alouettes, by my theory, I'll have to put them up in first.
You're going with the lineal championship type mindset. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
You get it.
I can respect that.
Yeah, I mean, I've used that in plenty of arguments in my time. Like, if the Chargers beat the Patriots after they win the Super Bowl, best team in the league.
It goes back to the John L. Sullivan days of bare knuckle boxing. Question number 5. What is on your Mount Rushmore of things people do that suck?
I want you to go first on this one. I want to see what you have bringing to the table.
Probably could have spent a bit more time thinking about this than I actually did because I think there's some really good options here. First one on the Rushmore. When someone either cuts you off in traffic or when you let them in and they don't wave.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different, but it's in the same kind of family, so I'm going to throw them together. Both drive me absolutely wild. The not waving one really, really gets me. Like, it makes me irrationally mad. Number 2, when someone takes credit for your joke. Or your take, like whatever it is, when someone takes credit for something you did, like at work, I don't know how often this really comes up. It's more of a TV show trope, but like when you did the presentation and your boss takes credit for it, I would imagine that drives people mental. But for me, like when you make a good joke and then someone repeats it louder or something and takes the credit for it, the worst. Number 3, when a parent doesn't have their child on lock, and I just mean like, listen, kids are going to be kids, but there are some situations we got to tighten up a little as parents. Like your kid he just threw his second pudding cup on me and you still haven't said anything to him. Like it's probably time to lock him down. And number 4, bad parkers, but more specifically, people who either take up 2 spots in like a mall parking lot, for example, or when they street park and there could be 2 cars that go in those spaces and they use their 1 car to take up both spaces or the amount of space. So I would say those 4 things.
Good ones. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting old, Declan. I'm getting grumpy. A lot of things bug me. I will tell you this. If Benny ever threw 2 cups of pudding on you and we'd be having a conversation, I'd be taking him outside. There'd be a real big heart-to-heart. So don't ever worry about that. We're all...
Well, you know what I mean, though? There are some parents who let their kids run absolutely wild.
Oh, we're taking Benny to a wedding in October, and he and I will be sitting at the back. Because the second he makes noises, I'm taking him out. Like, I'm not ruining someone's day for that. That's a kind of a more important thing. But yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good one. I will say I had don't signal and wave written down. Like the car alone could get me just so fired up. But I really don't like people don't signal. If you're on the road by yourself, that's fine. But like, it's such an easy thing to do. Your hand is right there. Like, I'm not asking you to pull a lever and anything like that. You're literally just, it's so easy. So when you don't signal, That bugs me. Leaving a mess at fast food establishments, and I know someone's going to get paid to clean it up, but like there's levels to it. If it's like ridiculous, like maybe your kid made a mess, maybe you compile it. You throw it on the tray. I've always been someone who thinks you should do that. Fantasy Frenzy back in the day, we had a show where we talked about not putting away shopping carts. That's another one that fires me up. And I know there's people's jobs that are out to go get it. But, you know, when you leave it across the parking lot and it's like minus 25 out, don't make the kid do it. Go put it back yourself. I guess finally, and it's not the biggest one for me personally, but a lot of people get really worked up about it, when you don't pick up after your animals on a walk. And I've seen it. I caught someone do it once, and there was kind of a stare down, and she just threw it into this little tree area in our neighborhood. So that would be one to me. Like, you get an animal, pick up after it. It's not that hard. I did it for a long time. I'm not being a hypocrite when I say it. Just pick up after your animal.
That one's a really good one. Like that one mixed with the fast food restaurant, put your stuff away, or people who don't put it away. That's a really good one.
You can kind of tell how people treat like people in certain industries. I think it's a big judge of character. Phil says, "Oh, when I park at the far end of the parking lot where no one parks and someone parks beside me and marks my door." Yeah, that one would be quite annoying. JB Loader says, "Hey boys, love the show. I hear you talk about not using your signal. I live in Mill Woods. No one uses their signal, not even the so-called professional drivers." That's the thing. I've long said there's a situation that drives me absolutely crazy. When someone is driving and let's just say they're going to turn left and the left lane opens up. They don't signal to turn into that lane, and then you're in a designated turning lane where you have to turn left, and then you throw on your signal light. I wish you just wouldn't use it at all. Because why are you not using it when you're changing lanes and then you're going somewhere where you have to turn and then you're telling me, like, I know you're turning. It's an automatic turn lane. You have to turn here. Why are you telling me? I don't care. Use it both or don't use it at all. Michelle says, those are all great takes. Thank you. Triple C in a truck. I will also second that. Millwoods, nobody uses their signals there. I got to get out there maybe a little bit more. Ranger Nick, people who drive with their lights off, both back and front at night, the worst. Yeah, that's not a good one. Or like in heavy rain or snow, it's really simple to turn it on. And I maybe people don't know. They just assume it's automatic and they have to do it. But just like a friendly reminder to those of you who don't do it or assume you don't, maybe just go check before you get in your car and just make sure the lights are on, especially if you're driving at night, because we all want to get home safe. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we got Spec, we got the stats of the day, and Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, plus more of your text. Anything that kind of fires you up, you can let us know. 1-833-401-1440. Right now, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Employee pricing is on now. You pay what they pay. Get a great deal at Northgate and check out the Corvette showroom. Shop now at northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Soriano reporting to the Blue Jays. Estrada off into the AAA club in Buffalo. In Jays news, in the Argos world, quarterback Chad Kelly as well as Cameron Judge, both available when the Argos play the Stamps this weekend. And former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi and Western Kentucky legend added to the Rough Riders NAG list. NFL contracts, as Bijan Robinson has signed a $75 million 3-year contract with the Atlanta Falcons. Zay Flowers, a $140 million 4-year deal with $108 million guaranteed with the Ravens. And Darnell Wright, a 4-year $116 million deal with $93 million guaranteed with the Chicago Bears. MLB scores right now, 3 games tied 0-0. Angels and Orioles, A's and Reds, and Mets and Guardians. The Phillies leading the Nats 1-0 in the top of the second. That the lone game with a score so far. At 6:10, we will see the Blue Jays and the Astros out in Houston. Trey Savage on the mound for the Jays. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Kids go or drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the sports talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Get ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. The Gene Simmons Band, performing your favorite classic hits. Monday, November 30th at Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Tickets on sale now at silenticecenter.com. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
At Papa John's, we know it's not just a pizza. It's a family gathering. Happy birthday, a special celebration, or just a sigh of relief at the end of a busy day. For a limited time, get large one-topping pizzas for only $14.99 each on original, thin, or New York-style crust. Use promo code L1499 at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 5:05. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan, and Connor the intern sitting in for the vacationing Jason Gregor. He will be back later on in the week. Appreciate you guys joining us. The Jason Gregor Show is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. If you go over to PlayAlberta.ca, check out the sports section. You can check out the Gregor Show specials, all boosted. You got the Valkyries minus 12 tonight as they take on Toronto. We've got a little MLB parlay, Rangers, Mariners, and Diamondbacks all to win. How about the Blue Jays? Victory plus the under 8.5 total runs. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. If you'd like, you can also email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. Right now, we're going to talk a lot of different things with Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. It is the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They're hiring operators, pipe layers, top men for a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. Also, for huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers. Mark Spector joining us today, I believe, from a golf course. Spec, how are you doing today?
Good. Just speaking in my friend Doug Wolf's backswing as we speak.
Whoa.
Kind of under a tree, but he's been there all day, so it's not a big deal.
It's the game within the game. Spec, we were talking about things people do that suck. It was one of Declan's questions at 5 questions. And I think on the golf course, you could probably have a list of your own. You know, the what you just did might be under that category. Is there anything for you that stands out? Things people do that suck.
Things people do. Holy, is it summer or what? Well, my golf game would be something someone does that sucks. No doubt about that. Things people do that suck. I think I'm a make love, not war guy. You know, I think what makes me like bullies suck. You know, all these countries taking over other countries suck. Putin sucks. Trump sucks. Right? Most of America at this point is kind of sort of sucking. What else sucks? Like, that's what I'm at. I'm at sort of, let's just get along, people. Can't we just have pour a cold beer and enjoy each other's company? And so we don't agree on everything. Big deal. Like, we don't have to, it doesn't have to escalate. So my version of things people do that sucks right now in our world is everybody trying to, mow everybody else's grass. How about that?
That's a good one. I'm with you. Have a beer, chill out. Right?
Make love, not war. Like, where did that go?
No, I don't know. You got to bring it back. Lead the charge, maybe here.
Yeah, right. Like, for sure. I'm into the hippies. Whatever happened to the hippies? We need more hippies, right? Let's play some Jimi Hendrix and smoke a fatty and get along here. Come on.
No, that sounds like a good weekend. We should be doing that. Speaking of weekends, let's transition into the Edmonton Elks over the weekend. They fall to the Rough Riders 28-26. Overall, not a bad football game. The crowd was fantastic. And I think, to have a crowd like that and have that performance, even without the win, is a good sign. My question for you, at this point for the Elks, is there a moral victory there? Like, you hung around with a good Rough Riders team?
No, I wouldn't say a moral victory because they beat that good Rough Riders team, and then they played with them the whole time. The moral victory would be if we weren't sure that the Elks could play with the Riders. We know they can. They beat them last week. They played with them for 60 minutes in Regina. They played with them for 60 minutes in Edmonton. It's probably fair that it turned out that a split, right? I think both teams deserve it. I'm not saying moral victory. I mean, it's awesome that the Elks have got to the point where they earned the kind of support that they got, 30,000 people, but they earned that. Like, there's not some fluke there. They earned that. And would it have been better to win? Of course it would. But would anyone have left that ballpark on Saturday night and said, well, I was going to come back if they won, but I'm not coming back now that they lost? No, because it was a killer great game that went down to the last drive, right? So, I think everything was accomplished on Saturday night except for the win. But, like the wise old scout told me when I was a young reporter, the other team's trying too, buddy, right? You don't get to just win every night.
Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned, a good Rough Riders team. And now you turn your attention to Montreal, and we'll see how that goes next Saturday. That's a very good team in their own right. And it should be a fun one for sure. Turning your attention to the majors here. Your Cubbies got Kevin Gausman. How excited were you to see that news and expectations here? How are you feeling down the stretch post-trade deadline?
Well, they were active. They brought in 5 guys. They brought in a pretty good reliever. I don't have all the names for you, but, Gausman's the main guy. I'm just happy selfishly because I always particularly liked when I flipped on a Jays game and Gausman was starting. I was always like, oh, good. I like watching him throw. I like his stuff. I like his tie. I love the fact that this American cat was always a great defender and promoter of Toronto and Canada. I think that makes him, in my eyes, a cool cat. So I got a ton of time for Kevin Gossman. And now he's pitching for, my favorite team. So I'm going to watch the Cubs regardless. But if now when I turn the Cubs on and Gossman's starting, it's going to be like, awesome. This is great. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they did some stuff. I kind of applaud them for not just selling off and giving up. They kind of brought some stuff in for this year and next, and they didn't make themselves a ton weaker. I'm not saying they're going to do anything, but I thought that Atkins and the guys I thought their approach was interesting. What did you think?
Yeah, I would be with you. Like, if you were asking me to grade their moves, I'd probably have like C+, B+ throughout all those moves that they made, and bringing in arms that they'll have under control for the next 2-3 years. I think that's always a good sign to have some stability with you in the pitching room there, and we'll have to see how it does play out. Now, 4 games back, there's a few teams in front of them in the race for that final wild card spot. But we had Mike Wilner on, and he said, 49 games, anything can happen. I'm not going to ask you for a percentage or anything, but do you have any belief that maybe the Jays find a way to get back into this one and maybe go on a run here? Because they have won 4 of their last 5.
Well, listen, it's the irony here is it's like they brought in arms, and what they need are bats.
Good point.
That was kind of the weird thing. They brought in arms, and what they need are bats. So, guys who haven't hit all year got to start hitting. Like it's they got to get runs. They need runs. They got to produce offensively. So, your question should be, what are the chances of Vladdy and Springer and Kirk and Ernie Clement's been pretty good, but they got a few guys that haven't been, right? Who's taken over in center field now? Lucas. I believe he's going to take over for Varsho. He hasn't hit great as far as I can see. So my point would be, it's awesome that they brought in some arms, but they've already been losing games 2-1 all season. So unless they start to hit, you got to get some runs there.
Yeah, 100% is Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in for Jason. And, we had Dave McCarthy on the show earlier today, and we were just looking around the NHL top 3 teams per division. And he's very high on the Edmonton Oilers to get that number 1 spot. And we know it's been a long time since they've won their division. I'll be 40 next year, and I think it's happened once in my lifetime. Would you agree that this is the year, with the new head coach and the goaltending, is this going to be a year where you think they can win the Pacific?
Yeah, I want to say, it doesn't matter to me that if they win the division much. We've learned long ago, it's all about what you're doing in April and May, not what you did all year. But I would say that no team, like Vegas went to the Cup last year. Vegas is a veteran team. They stack up to be a little closer to last year's Oilers. The team here in Edmonton did that. They just came off a lazy season where they did very little all year. And to me, they got a new coach. They've got a new purpose. They're out to prove that last year was a one-off, that they're not done, that there's a lot left in the tank. All of that stacks up for a team that's going to give me a really good October, November, December, January. I was saying to you that if Vegas didn't give me a great, October, November, December, January, I wouldn't be surprised, right? They're a team coming off a Cup finalist appearance. So Edmonton has every chance. If they put it this way, man, I guess I'd say if you can't win the division this year, when are you going to win? Who's going to beat you in this division if not Vegas? And they just played 4 rounds last year, like no one else. Don't tell me you're finishing behind LA. Don't tell me you're finishing behind San Jose or Anaheim. If the Oilers are telling you that they're going to be a Stanley Cup contender, then they should win the division this year. Don't you think? Is that fair?
Yeah. I wanted to see it last year, just the way they've had these kind of lulls in their season. I wanted to see a dominant, a good team from start to finish without those kind of things. And I thought if you did that, you probably find a way to win your division and hopefully ramping it up in the final months of the season. But yeah, it didn't happen last year. Hopefully we see some changes from that this year and going in the right direction at the right time.
Yeah, that's, you just said it. I don't really care that much how you played in October, November, December. Get in the playoffs, obviously. Play well, get your game together. Remember, they went to 2 Cups in a row without winning their division. So who cares, really? I don't care that much about winning your division. I'm not sure players care that much about winning their division. It's just tell me that you're at the peak of your game on about March 20th. and you've really found it, and everyone's got their roles, and your trade deadline acquisitions are filling into where they're supposed to fall into in your lineup and your roster. And just tell me that when the playoffs start, you are ready to roll. That's all. I don't, what place you are when the playoffs start, frankly, I could care less.
Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. So let me ask you this. You look at the team that they have right now, and we know they can accrue cap space as the season goes on. Do you think this team brings anyone else in? Do you think it would happen earlier on the season? Or if there is a move, do you think we're waiting until the trade deadline?
Yeah, I at this point, I don't see a lot coming down the pipe here prior to training camp. Do you? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a guy like Vlad Tarasenko says, okay, I'll play for $1 million. I don't see that. I just don't see it.
No.
So, I don't see another Roslovic. And if one jumps out of the woodwork, yeah, Bowman will sign him. And he should, at 1.5 for a guy that scores you 20 something, right? I'd take that guy every day. But assuming that guy doesn't appear magically, I would just say this Oilers team as it stands is good enough to get to the trade deadline well in contention for the lead in the Pacific, and then take that deadline money and go to town, baby. Go get 2 really good players. And I don't care if you're in second or third place Pacific, who cares? But get me 2 good players on March 4th or 5th or whatever the deadline is. And let's go from there. That's good enough for me, man. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the Tarasenko name is interesting for sure. But if I'm him, maybe I want to get a bigger deal elsewhere. And then if it's not going well at the trade deadline, you circle back and maybe look to make that move. I know the Oilers probably would be offering a little bit lower with that mindset. Hey, well, do you want to play with Draisaitl or McDavid and go on a run here? We'll see how it works out. I thought the same with like Klingberg a couple of years ago. When he signed with the Anaheim Ducks.
Yeah, that was a great pickup.
Yeah, just someone like that where you can just maybe bring them in towards the end of the season for cheaper, seeing how things are going, get some money retained. But yeah, I think I'm with you. Kind of reassess down the season as it rolls on here. Before we let you go here, have you been tuning in to any of the Hlinka Gretzky Cup? I know it just got going yesterday. Canada had the win over Switzerland 7-3, taking on Slovakia. I believe going shortly or underway right now. Is this the tournament you pay attention to?
No.
I'm
morally opposed to summer hockey.
Yeah.
I never played summer hockey. When I play hockey, I don't watch summer hockey. And as good as the Hlinka is, and I know that there's scouts from every team, the general managers are there, and it's high quality stuff, and it is the very best draft eligible players in the world all in one place. I got 8 months of hockey coming up, brother. I'm sitting on a golf course right now. I'll watch the Cubs play before I'll watch the Hlinka Gretzky every day of every week.
That is very fair, very fair. During the decade of darkness, I think I was checking it out. Like, who's the next guy? Who are the Oilers going to be taking first overall next year? This year, yeah, I like that mindset that you have. How many holes do you have left?
2. I wouldn't mind hitting the next T-ball too if we get done here.
Well, you know what? Let's wrap it up so you can get doing that. And good luck with the rest of your game.
Hey, thanks, Connor.
Chat tomorrow. There you go. Mark Spector from a golf course. Windy at some points out there for sure. Great to have Spec join us on the show. But yeah, Canada at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Nice win yesterday, 7-3. There's a few names you probably want to watch out for. Landon DuPont would be the big one that I've heard. But yeah, it's when the Oilers were really bad, we used to really kind of get in on this. And now it's like, well, they don't have a first round pick. They might have a late second round pick. It's just not maybe what it once was. But some good hockey going on in our city. And if you want to go out, maybe you're jonesing for hockey, like you're the opposite of Spec. You're like, summer, I miss it. I want it. Head on down there. Good hockey. 1-833-401-1440 is our text line if you'd like to get in on the conversation. Connor Halley. We've got Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. Jim says, Spec, too funny. Triple C in a truck. Yes, Spec. Yeah. He's got that hippie lifestyle, apparently. I did not know that about Mark Spector. Corey maybe nodding, agreeing. The hippies became everything they once actively opposed. Well, that happens. Shifts in the political spectrum. We certainly have seen that before, haven't we? We'll take a break here. When we come back, we may get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Depends if it's here or not. We're going to get to the stats of the day. Looking at jersey retirements in sports and which sport leads the way, which teams lead the way. We'll talk about that and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Did you know The Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers The Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
He came home, and right away I saw that look in his eyes. I knew what was coming. Before I could even speak, he raised his hand
and just kept texting me, asking where I was, demanding I respond immediately or I'd regret it. It hurt.
More than you can imagine.
Tech abuse is real abuse. If you or someone you know is using technology to harm or control, change is possible. Learn how to end the violence at alberta.ca/endgbv. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tonight's Lotto Max 20 mil. the gold ball jackpot tomorrow, $42 million. PlayAlberta.ca. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. Coming up after the Jason Gregor Show, we will have Jays and Astros on our AM feed only. If you are streaming, it will be Fox Sports Radio. So listen on the dial. Keep it rolling once we wrap up at the top of the hour. Right now, we'll get to the stats of the day brought to you by All-Star Construction. They're hiring general laborers, HVAC operators, backhoe operator, gas piping technician, and more. Go to Indeed.com and search All-Star Construction. And scrolling through some things here today and had to look back in history. On this day in 1985, the New York Yankees retired Baseball Hall of Fame shortstop Phil Rizzuto's number 10. So I kind of started to dig into it. Just wanted to look at around the four major sports here in North America, which teams really get into it when it comes to retiring jerseys and which numbers more so. So Declan, I want to bring you on for this segment, and I'm putting you on the spot here. You have no research here, so this isn't fair. So nobody judge Declan. But if I were to ask you what number in NHL history do you think is retired the most, what would you think it is?
Well, I would say 99 just because of the unofficial retirement of no one having the gall to take that number. So I'm sure it's not, but I'll say 99.
So that, if you're looking at that as every NHL market, that would be the top number. What would be your second number?
It's a really good question. So you just mean by a team on a team by team basis? Like
yes.
The team has
this number has been retired by 12 teams.
19 comes to mind.
And it might actually
for no reason.
It might even be 13 now. Close, but number 9. The Red Wings, Hurricanes, Montreal, Chicago, Edmonton, of course, with Glenn Anderson, Calgary, Dallas, New York, among others, have retired the number 9. Number 7 is actually tied for second spot with number 1. With goaltenders, it kind of makes sense. The Montreal Canadiens have the most numbers retired with 15. So there you go. Long history. It's going to be a trend here. In the NFL, I don't know if you want to take a guess on that one. Which number has been retired by the most teams? It's been retired 6 times.
Not a super. Can you give me a general position group?
I would say think quarterback.
That's okay. That's where I was going. I'm just gonna say it. 12.
That's it.
Okay,
you nailed it there.
Yeah.
So you've got the 49ers, Chiefs, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, and then Seattle for the 12th man. Number 2. Number 70. 4 teams have done that. New York, Giants, 49ers, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and then 14, 40, and 44 have been retired by 3 teams each. Which is interesting because not the biggest, 70, I suppose, offensive line, but 40 and 44, not the most popular numbers anymore. The Cowboys don't retire numbers. I don't know if you know this. They have unofficial retirements for 8 for Aikman, 12 Staubach, 22 Smith, and 74. Who's 74 off the top of my head? I don't know. They have tried to do it with other numbers, but they've got 88, and that gets handed out all the time to receivers. Des wore it, of course, right now, CeeDee Lamb, and that was after Michael Irvin wore it. So lots in the NFL. In the NBA deck, do you know who has the most retired numbers? Which organization?
Oh, the organization that's retired the most?
Yeah.
It has to be the Celtics.
You're right. Yeah. 23 numbers.
That's stupid, man. Pull some of those out of there. We don't need all those retired.
So many. The number that is retired by the most, it's 13 teams.
Oh, man. 13 teams have retired this number?
This number, yeah.
I'm trying to think.
If you think big men.
It's
a big man number.
Yeah. I was going to say 34.
You're close.
32?
32.
Yeah.
13 teams have retired this number. 9 teams have retired 33. And do you know which number was retired league-wide in 2022?
They retired a number league-wide?
In my research, yeah. But you might want to confirm this.
Is it 24?
No.
Is it 20? Is it 8?
No.
Is it 23?
No.
Give me a hint.
Think Boston Celtics legend.
6?
Yeah.
They retired 6 league-wide?
That's what the research tells me.
I believe
they did in 2022. It was announced following his passing. So there you go. I would have maybe thought some of the numbers that you said, but the precedent has been set. Of course, Major League Baseball, we've seen it with number 42, Jackie Robinson. Do you know which team has the most retirings in baseball?
I would guess the Yankees.
This guy knows sports. Yes, 21 retired numbers for the New York Yankees. Could you guess which number has been retired the most?
42.
I guess technically, but after that, can you guess this
one? 18.
There's no way you would know this. That's why this is kind of fun. Number 20 has been retired by 11 teams, followed by number 14 by 10 teams. Which number would you wear if you played baseball?
If I played baseball?
Yeah.
It's got to be something cool, like 23.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Kind of looks good in every sport.
I think 23 is just a really swaggy number.
99 has been officially retired. There you go. From Hollywood, Broadway, and Dave from Stoney. And the one-arm bandit, new number 9. So there you go. There's a few numbers for you. And just on the topic of other numbers, at age, Landon DuPont being featured here at the Linka Gretzky tournament right now. He was given exceptional status as a 15-year-old. He appeared in 64 games with Everett, had 60 points, 17 goals, and then the following season, 73 points in 63 games. And then the postseason, in 18 games played, 23 points, won a ship with the Everett Silver Tips. If you go back and look, the exceptional player status is being used a few times. John Tavares got it first. Pretty good season. Obviously went first overall. As a rookie, had 77 points. We saw Aaron Ekblad get it back in 2011. The following year, Connor McDavid. Makes sense. I think he had 66 points in his rookie season. Sean Day got it. Didn't have quite the same success. Played in the AHL and East Coast Hockey League, some Sweden time. A very good career. Joe Valeno had it. We've got Shane Wright of the Seattle Kraken. Connor Bedard. We know how good he was. Michael Misa. And then Landon DuPont last season was the latest. So it's kind of an interesting discussion. With certain players, it does make sense, I think. But I don't think we need to be pushing too many young kids into that league because it can be tough. You know, you're going up against some really good players, and in a league that has such a wide range in age, I think that can be a little bit of a risky one because there's some 19s, some 20s in that league that could do some damage. So I don't think you want to be rushing them into the league too often, but the guys that did it seemingly have done it quite well. There you go. That is the stats of the day. 1-833-401-1440. Some other news and notes from around the NFL. If you missed it, Carson Declan going to get the start in the Hall of Fame game tomorrow against the Carolina Panthers. They're going to be resting Jacoby Brissett.
He's had a tough offseason. He had to do a lot of haggling for not very much more money.
It was a weird spot for a career backup. For the most part, he started in spot duty, I know. To pull that, good for him. Cash in when you can, right?
Listen, things have not been great playoff-wise for the Buffalo Bills, but at least my franchise hasn't been held hostage by Jacoby Brissett as the QB1. It can always be worse.
Did he make a mistake opening up the door for Carson Beck, who is a known winner, Deck? This guy wins football games.
You know what's cool about him? He's got a very real possibility to throw the last pass of the college football season and the first pass of the subsequent NFL season. Don't know if that's ever happened before.
Would you be willing to put in the time to research that?
I like the mystique of not knowing.
Why are we so hard on Carson Beck as a culture, a society? His last 3 years aren't bad. Is it because he's surrounded by talent? I mean, he won 2 natties. I guess he didn't really play. So maybe people might look at him as the reason there was the drop-off. He still put up okay numbers.
And he didn't have any receivers there, really.
At Georgia or Miami?
At Georgia. Like that receiving room the year before he transferred was such a shell of what it had been.
I think I'm kind of finding myself on the rooting for Carson Beck bandwagon. I'm a softie. I hear, Josh and Donovan just slander him. Probably Declan. And I'm just here to root for the guy. Yeah, Kendall. Wait, hold on here. Receiving yards. He really didn't have. He had Brock Bowers. He had Ladd McConkey.
Yeah. No, but that wasn't the year that wasn't his last year there.
Oh, last year.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Those guys.
Yeah, those two made a difference for sure.
Those are pretty good players. You had some guys who put up decent numbers, but yeah, the cards will be interesting. I'm at that point. Like the CFL is great. I love watching it, but the Hall of Fame game, I'll throw it on. At one point, I will turn it off and say, I want regular season. But at one point, yeah, I'll probably throw in the Hall of Fame game. Brad says, Packers are winning the bowl. Write it down.
The Fruit Bowl?
Are the Packers getting out of their division, Brad? The Bears could be mighty. The Lions, I would think, would bounce back. I mean, they're getting their defense. They had so many injuries last year. That's kind of like the NFC South for me, where it's like I could see it going a lot of different ways. I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer. Vikings would probably be a bit of a long shot. But we've seen crazier things happen. I could see the Packers getting it done. They can, some good players. Sucks that Parsons out of the lineup for whatever it's going to be, 6 weeks. You don't believe, Deck? Or is that just
No? Sorry, that was a big something else moment.
Yeah, well, we'll see, Brad. I don't know if I'm as high on the Packers as you are, but I certainly don't hate them. And I'd love to get out there and take a look-see at the beautiful Lambeau Field one of these days. We'll take a break here, final break of the show. When we come back, we'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning and look back at some of the previous texts. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Your weekend hotspot is OTR. Party with Edmonton's best live bands every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Your bar, your party. Jasper Ave and 118th. OnTheRockYeg.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 5:41. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, tonight's Lotto Max, $20 million. Tomorrow, the Gold Ball jackpot, $42 million. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense. And also, if you want to get some sports betting in, you can head to the sports section, PlayAlberta.ca/sports. Jason Gregor Show picks, odd boosted as per usual. And we got some good ones tonight, Deck. Deck selects the Valkyries covering the 12-point spread over the tempo. We hate to go against Canada's team, but we believe in Golden State. We've also got the Blue Jays money line and under 8.5 runs, and then the home field advantage pick. Rangers, Mariners, Diamondbacks, boosted, and of course, yes, they're all at home. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense. So we are going to try to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. If he sends it shortly, the 2-minute warning, as per usual, is brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No OT charges, furnace repair and maintenance. That's how you do it with legacyheating.ca. We'll get to that once it rolls in here. 1-833-401-1440 is the text line. Had a text follow-up from Brad. Says, I went to Lambeau a few years ago, watched the Bears and Packers a week before Christmas, minus 30 weather. It was everything. Yeah, that would be sick. There's certain stadiums. Yeah, I think like if I'd love to go to Lambeau, but prime time would be great. Under the snow, you just suck it up a little bit. I've heard just that area is really cool. So that's one for me. I've said it before. I'd love to go to Chicago as well. See a game at Soldier Field. That would be really neat. There's kind of the new stadiums that I think you just want to see, like Cowboy Stadium would be cool. I don't think there's outside of Washington, there's probably not a market in the NFL I wouldn't want to go see a game at. Vegas would be cool. LA would be cool. Houston. Go to the link. Just boo the other team. Maybe go incognito so they don't know I'm the opposing team. But there's a lot I think would be really cool. I've been to a game in Tampa. That was a neat experience. Other than Washington, though, there's probably not too many stadiums I wouldn't want to go to. Jack, is there any for you that you're like, yeah, no desire to go see a game there?
No, like I'm very similar to you. Any of them that are offered, I'm going to take. There's not one I'm actively looking to avoid, you know?
Even Washington?
No, I don't mind. Like
that stadium, like the bathroom leaks.
But I know, but to me, that almost like adds to the allure. It's like that's kind of one of the reasons, like some of the traveling I want to do. Like one of the places I most want to see is Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And it's like I'll just say it. The crime rate's very high there, right? Like but I want to go because I want to see what city infrastructure looks like. Like I want to know what the roads look like there. Like what is a pool? What is a like aquatic center look like there? The bus stop, things like that. You know what I mean? So like Washington Stadium and how decrepit it is kind of fits into that category of allure for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Way too long of an answer there, but
no, that's
you get it.
That's fine. Arkansas Pine Bluff, home of Teron Armstead. I think we had on the Jason Gregor show once. I think there was another a Charger who was drafted there as well. Courtney Van Buren. Yeah. Our third round pick in 2003. It really stands out to me. Deck in the CFL, Gino Lewis. Where's he going to end up? Did that make sense to you that they released him?
Yeah, we talked about that this morning on Elks 101. Ed was very vocal about wanting to move on from him here when he was in Edmonton, and Gino in turn was very vocal about how he was happy to be the highest paid receiver and reset the wide receiver mark. And Ed obviously moved on from him because of a culture fit and a character fit. And I think you're probably seeing some of those signs in Ottawa. Like, his numbers weren't great, but he was far from the problem, I would say, in that offense. So the fact that an 0-7 team felt the need to cut ties from him, and not to be too harsh with it because I don't want to do him like this, but to, cut a cancer out of the room, it doesn't really bode well for him. I think he's definitely talented enough to still have a landing spot. Toronto and Winnipeg came to mind, but I don't think he's going to, I think a lot of what he's going to have to do from here on out is going to be prove it. Show me, you know what I mean? And that's always an uphill battle when you've got a player who kind of carries himself the way Geno Lewis does.
Yeah, I mean, for 6 years, if you give him a full season, he's a 1,000-yard guy,
Yeah.
right? We saw in Edmonton the 1 year, had the 10 touchdowns as well, a reliable dump ball guy. It's interesting. He'd be a good ad, I would think, but you got to have that right team culture where you can bring him in. I wouldn't fault anyone if they took advantage of this. And maybe there's a little bit of a humbling there, but I could also see him being vocal. The way things are going in Ottawa, it's not necessarily the best. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to move on from those guys. Let me give them a fresh start, give your team a fresh start, give other guys opportunities, really. And sometimes that can be enough. Cam Tate did reply to me. He said he just needs 90 seconds, Declan. So hopefully you'll be getting that 2-minute warning relatively quickly.
I'm waiting.
Which beats our backup plan was you just making one up on the spot.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have been very good at.
Well, you never know. Maybe something would have come to your mind. You talk about the...
No, I failed improv class, so this would have been bad for me.
Did you ever do drama in junior high or high school?
No.
No? I did 3 years.
I'll really, hey?
Yeah, it wasn't what you think.
No, after watching The Odyssey yesterday, I came out of that I think I want to be an actor now. So I wish I would have taken drama class, but it was never really in the cards.
Out of 10, how was The Odyssey?
9.
Okay.
9. Maybe 8.75, but you got you're asking a harsh movie critic right
now. Well, what's a 10 out of 10 movie for you?
Casablanca.
Okay.
Would be a 10. 12 Angry Men would be a 10. It's a select list.
Well, then for you to have The Odyssey at 9 is pretty impressive.
That's how good it was.
Was it too loud?
Yeah. So that was
a complaint.
Yeah, so I heard that as well from people. And we did watch it in IMAX, which I heard was an extra complaint from people. I didn't think so. I thought it was fine. It sounded like I was seeing a movie at the movie theater.
Interesting. Some random news and notes. I think Declan touched on it there in his updates. Bailey Zappi added to the Rough Riders negotiation list. We remember him. I think he's confident with the Patriots. Mo Salah going to play in Turkey. As a Liverpool fan, it's not where I thought he'd end up. Just bring him home for another year. Get him back in Liverpool. He was great at the World Cup. And then sad news, in case you missed it, a wrestling icon, the brother of Terry Funk, who I was a little bit more familiar with, Dory Funk, passing away at the age of 85. Triple H, a.k.a. Paul Levesque, put that out there on social media. So our condolences to the family of the legend Funk, the Funk family. Good stuff. Terry Funk was wrestling when he was quite old. Put on a heck of a show. He and not Mankind. It was Mankind, but he went by a different name at the time. Anyways, why don't we get into it? It's Cam Tate's 2-minute warning right now.
I need a redo. Connor, ever have a redo? Declan, on the other hand, wishes he had a do. As in hair do. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Kind of, I guess. Maybe. I'll send flowers. Where were we? Oh yeah, the redo thing. A thing you did, and now you know I love saying this word on the radio. The thing you ain't. That's right. Ain't proud of. Forget this morning. Okay, folks, come to Gregor moment, even though Gregor ain't here, which frankly might be for the best. This morning's Cam and Eggs Bonanza Extravaganza. If you heard it, please forget it. Erase it from your mind's soundtrack. If you envision it as a vinyl record, smash the damn thing. Pieces, small ones. I've contacted hypnotists. I've called the government about a witness protection program. Turns out that's for witnesses of crimes. And they said, sir, close enough. So let's make a deal. You forget this morning ever happened, and I'll forget you were listening at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday. We good? We're good, folks. Because Ed Hervey takes everything seriously. Yesterday, I quoted Hervey from that remarkable TSN panel, and I got it wrong. I said he said, if you don't, you can split. Wrong. Sloppy. Extra words. Hervey doesn't do extra words. The actual quote, and this tells you everything about the culture the man is building, if you don't fit, split. 4 words. That's it. That's a mission statement, a locker room policy, and a poem, all in 4 words. And that's the culture. You buy in or you move on. No committee, no focus group, no let's circle back. Meanwhile, we started this segment late because of hair talk. You think Ed Hervey has ever been late? Ed Hervey was born 2 minutes early and apologized for cutting it close. If you don't fit, split. We fit. Barely, but we fit. 2-minute warning. Sports. 14:40.
If you don't fit, split. If you don't fit, split. That's 5 words. Tater said it was 4 words. More fines on the way, Tater. You're buying the sub dogs next time. That's your punishment. Sub dogs for the whole 1440 crew. I really like Ed Hervey. Like, he ruffles some feathers, and that's fine. Like, you know, there was the Gino Lewis discussion about, you know, superstars in the CFL. Ed Hervey clarified many times what he meant. People wanted to criticize him for it, but I don't think he was wrong for saying what he said. And he's built a winner here in Edmonton, and we're seeing it. Declan still got them atop his power rankings, and Declan knows ball. So that says a lot. Oil Commander said, Washington is building a new stadium soon. Looks beautiful. I hope to get to a game long after, or not long after it opens. Go Commanders will surprise everyone and win the division. I will say that if they get a new stadium, I'll consider heading out to a game. I saw the Commanders play in Tampa. Chris Cooley was on the team back then. The Bucks won that game, but not a bad. Tampa's cool. I'd go to Tampa if I were you. Then you can see the Lightning play as well. Their arena is actually very nice, but I went like 20 years ago, so maybe it's not quite as nice. 1-833-401-1440. Before we do wrap up, want to make sure we thank all of our guests today for joining us on the show. Of course, Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine. We had Mike Wilner, Blue Jays reporter with the Deep Left Field podcast, and Toronto Star. Rick Walters joined us for an hour. He's going to be doing that every week on the Jason Gregor show, so make sure you're locked in. It'll typically be Mondays. With the long weekend, we did it on Tuesday, but Rick Walters, former CFLer, longtime player and coach, will join us. We had Dave McCarthy, Speck, Cam Tate, the roundtable, 5 questions. It was all awesome today. So thank you guys for joining us on the program. Check the podcast if you missed anything. Apple, Google, Spotify. You know where to go. Coming up next, Blue Jays baseball on the AM feed. If you're streaming, you've got Fox Sports Radio. Make sure you keep it locked here. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with live coverage on the Tom Gazzola Show. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Right now, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about selling or buying a home, call or text Sean directly, 780-265-0165. Good night. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Scores around the majors. Orioles lead the Angels 2-0 in at the top of the 6th. A's up 3-0 on the Reds in the top of the 5th. Mets lead the Guardians 5-1. Phillies up 4-0 on the Nats. Red Sox lead the White Sox 6-0. Yankees 1-0 over the Cards in the middle of the 4th, as are the Braves over the Marlins in the bottom of the 3rd. And the Twins, Royals, and Pirates, Brewers both tied 0-0. In about 10 minutes, we will see the Dodgers and the Cubs and the Giants and the Rangers. Then at 6:10, the Blue Jays in Houston take on the Astros. Perry Savage on the bump in that one. The other 3 games in the MLB tonight, we'll see the Rays and Rockies at 6:40, Tigers and Mariners at 7:40, and the Padres and Diamondbacks at the same time. The Gretzky Cup final from earlier today was Czechia over Germany 8-3. Currently, Canada leading Slovakia 2-1 at the end of the first period. And Switzerland beat Sweden 7-6. News from around the sporting world as wrestling icon Dory Funk Jr. has passed away at age 85. Jalen Walker will be out for the season. And in the other NFL news, Bijan Robinson planning a 3-year, $75 million extension with the Atlanta Falcons. Darnell Wright, 4 years, $116 million with the Bears. And Zay Flowers, 4-year, $140 million deal with the Ravens. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been Sports 1440 Update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to